Okay. Johnny, we're 3 minutes and 45 seconds away from the kickoff here of a first-round playoff game. What are you looking for in tonight's game?
Well, it seems like it's been at 3:45 for the past 2 minutes, but I'm looking for an offensive affair. Both teams averaging over 35 points a game. Not a lot of defense going to be played tonight, I don't think, although it's going to come down to who can make one good defensive stand. So Josh Dobbs leading out Alpharetta, having a great season right now. We do have the coin toss, and it looks like Alpharetta will receive the opening kickoff.
Okay. And it could come down to the Josh Dobbs and Ja'Cory Lewis show, because both of these guys are high-powered offensive players for their respective teams. Of course, Josh Dobbs is the top-notch quarterback in the division, and Ja'Cory Lewis ran for over 1,500 yards in his season this year.
And it's win or go home time right now, so you're going to want to see all these players leave it all out on the field tonight.
And I'm not hearing you again, Drew.
Can you hear me now? I'm not even really hearing you at all. I'm just having to look at you to see what you're saying.
I was hearing you.
Nope.
Are you hearing me now?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me now at all?
Not through the headsets. Oh, they set the clock back to 12 minutes now. So, what?
Oh, yep.
All right, there we go.
I can hear him now. Well, I think we lost our 3-minute game, unfortunately.
Do you want to go for it now?
I guess just do whatever part of the pregame you want because we're about to go.
Okay. Ready? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the GHSA Network, powered by PlayOnSports.com. We are moments away from kickoff of a first-round Division 6A playoff matchup between the Region 6 Alpharetta Raiders and the Region 7 Mill Creek Hawks. My name is Phil Singer, and I'm here along with Johnny Doherty and our production team of Corey and Ian. And tonight, we are in Alpharetta, Georgia, and Alpharetta High School's Raider Stadium for opening round of football battle. And Johnny, we're just about ready to get the game going.
Yeah, it is win or go home time right now, and Alpharetta is going to be back to receive the opening kickoff. And these teams have met a couple of times in the regular season, but this is their first matchup in the playoffs.
Okay, well, we are ready to go. The Raiders are in their cardinal red colors, and Mill Creek is in their white colors. And we are underway. A short kick, and ball is brought back to about the 23-yard line. And so that is where the Alpharetta Raiders will get started with their quarterback, Josh Dobbs, running the show. Josh will have probably 2 men in the backfield. Julian Macon is their typically big running back. But this is a passing offense. They rely on the pass, whereas Mill Creek will be doing the running. So Josh Dobbs now sets up in the I formation. We've got 2 flank left, 1 flank right. First down, we're ready to go. Pass over the middle. And gang tackled at about the 35-yard line. But we're underway, and first pass is completed by Josh Dobbs.
And as you mentioned, Josh Dobbs, the quarterback, also 2 of his great wide receivers. Carlos Burse had 8 touchdowns on the season. Also, Daniel Clemens, 1,209 yards and 7 touchdowns. So those will be his 2 targets that he's looking at most often throughout the evening.
Okay, Dobbs again. And it's a quick flip across the middle, and we're not going anywhere. So tried to do a little tricky play, kind of a pitch behind center, and it really didn't go very far. So that's going to set up a second down and 10.
Great job by Michael Leonard coming in from his outside linebacker spot, basically unblocked, able to make the tackle in the backfield. And as in any football, you want to stay ahead of the chains, and right now it's now 2nd and 12.
2nd and 12. And another run up the middle, and picked up a couple 3 yards. The Alpharetta Raiders rely very heavily on the pass. They are a passing team. Dobbs this year passed for 3,400 yards, 25 touchdowns. So this team will score. They'll score a lot of points, but it'll be through the air. And they have, Johnny, as you said, a very, very strong receiving core. So we've got a 3rd and 9 right now. Again, Dobbs in the shotgun, and he'll be in the shotgun for most of the game. An obvious pass situation. Plenty of time. Now there's a scramble, and gets the ball, avoided getting tackled, and threw the ball, almost picked off, but it goes incomplete, and so the Raiders are going to have to give it up, and we're going to see the Mill Creek Hawks in offense.
And it was just a 3-man rush, so they dropped 8 back for Mill Creek. Everybody was covered. Dobbs finally getting it away, and Zach Turner almost came up with a big interception, made the diving attempt, which wasn't able to make it, but a big 3rd down early. And both of these teams coming in averaging over 30 points, so it's going to be kind of which defense can kind of make the necessary plays and adjustments throughout the game, who's going to win.
Evan Trout back to kick, and here it is. End over end kick, and it's going to bounce, and it's going to roll, a nice roll for Alpharetta, and it will roll down to about the 23-yard line. So that is where Mill Creek will take over on their first round of possessions. There's 10 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. 0-0 score, of course. Mill Creek with the ball. And the guy we want to watch very closely is a guy named Ja'Cory Lewis. Lewis ran this year, had 178 carries for 1,545 yards and averaged 8.6 yards a carry.
Pretty much video game stats, and a lot of that can be contributed to his offensive line. Matthew Purcell, Kim Caleb, John Troutman, Matt Kopp, Joe Cox, Jacob Lee, Michael Cheeks, Kyle Nichols, all the wide receivers also blocking, helping out your running back. And
a little mix-up in the backfield, but Lewis has the ball and still goes off right tackle for about 3 yards. A little sloppy handoff, but nevertheless, Lewis is able to pick up. Let's see where they spot it.
Looks like they're actually going to give him 4 or 5. This yard marker's still going over there, about 5 yards.
Okay. 2nd and 6. Dan David is the quarterback for Mill Creek. And a runoff to the right-hand side, and that would be Devosia Felton. He is their 2nd running back. And let's see where they spot it. Tyler Keeley on the tackle. So third down and 2. And what would appear to be an obvious running play. 2 strong running backs in Mill Creek, Devosia Felton and Ja'Cory Lewis. Both of those guys have had terrific years, Lewis being the senior and Felton being the junior. And the handoff goes to Lewis, and he goes right up the middle and easily a first down.
Basically just a straight power play to the right. It's going to pick up 12, 13 yards and moving the chains. And again, it's just that big offensive line for Mill Creek, able to get to the 2nd level on that one, allowing the runner to pick up the first down. And they do average close to 300 yards a game, even though they are playing from the pistol formation.
Okay, from the 40-yard line, first down. And back to pass goes David. He'll pass out in the flat, and he will get down to about the 43-yard line.
And one of the rare passes that you'll see, that one caught by Andrew Ciara, the running back, the junior. A nice play-action fake. Even though you are basically a running team predominantly, you do like to throw in that play-action pass, and the run just opens that up even more. But good open field tackling so far for Alpharetta.
Yeah, Dan David only attempted 114 passes the whole year, so this is clearly a running offense. And the handoff goes to Lewis up the middle, and I want to tell you, the holes are being blasted open, and he is going right through them, Johnny.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, this offensive line has done so far. I mean, this is still early in the first quarter, but they're just basically manhandling that Alpharetta defensive line right now, usually playing a predominantly kind of 3-4. We'll mix it up and play a 4-3. So the linebackers are going to have to kind of get off their blocks and make the tackles.
All right, 3 flanked out the right. Lewis behind David. 1st and 10. Three flanked right, 1 flank left. One man in the backfield with David. That would be Ja'Cory Lewis. Shotgun. And the whistle blows, and we have our first penalty of the game.
And it looks like that is going to be false start, or actually they're going to call delay of game actually on Mill Creek, so push them back 5 yards. And can't really be happy about that in the playoffs. You need to kind of stay ahead of the chains again, and head coach not going to be too happy on a delay of game penalty.
Yeah, so it's a 1st and 15, and again, what in this situation would appear to be a passing down, but let's see what they do. And it goes to Lewis, and he goes off right tackle and gets the ball to the 50-yard line. So you have to realize that Lewis averages over 8.5 yards a game, and their other running back, Devontae Felton, averages over 11 yards a carry. So between the two of them, what would appear to be an obvious passing down for many teams is not necessarily the case for a team like the Mill Creek Hawks.
So basically between these two guys, every time they're going to touch the ball, they're going to get a first down almost.
Just about. Okay, 2 flank left, 1 flank right. And David back to pass. And wide open and dropped.
You said it exactly right. Hit Kyle Nichols right in the worst place possible. Hit him right in the hands right there. Nice route by Nichols. Alpharetta playing a little zone coverage. He's able to sit down in the zone, show him his numbers, and hit him right on the spot, but unable to make the catch. So now you do have a decision. You are the predominantly run-based team. Do you try to throw another pass or maybe a screen play?
All right, 3rd and 10. At the 49-yard line. Let's see what they do. And hand off to Lewis coming around the left-hand side. He trips and falls. Takes the ball out to the 45-yard line of Alpharetta. That is not going to be enough for a first down. So that is going to set up what would appear to be a punting situation. Although, let's see.
But that is kind of decision time right now, as you said. But with these two great backs, if you get 4 or 5 yards on that play, they're able to break a big one. You're out on the plus side of the field. Looks like they will go for it.
4th and 6, and they are going for it. They're on the 46-yard line of Alpharetta. 2 wide left, 2 wide right. And is David trying to draw Alpharetta off sides? We'll see. And looks like a timeout has been called by Alpharetta Raiders. Join the conversation about high school sports. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at PlayOnSports, #GHSA Football. So we have our first time out of the game. And the interesting thing about this game, both of these teams average over 30 points a game during the regular season. So we expect a high-scoring game tonight. Again, what we expect to happen anyway would be the Raiders are going to score through the air, and we expect the Hawks to be pounding it on the ground. Both teams, again, have shown a lot of offensive power, one through the pass, one through the rush. But, so far, each team has had the ball once, and I guess there are a little bit of nerves out here, and they're just testing each other out. And so we've got a 4th and 6, and let's see if the Mill Creek Hawks are rethinking the play. Are they going to punt, or are they going to still go for it, Johnny?
Well, it looks like they are going to bring on the punting team right now. It's kind of a gutsy decision. You're trying to pin them deep, and it looks like an Alpharetta player trying to run on back up to receive the kick. And they will bring on Jake Richards on for the punt.
Okay, so they did decide to go for the punt, and actually, here we go. The kick is off to the right-hand side. Fair catch being called and made at the 12-yard line. 17-yard lines. So 5 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the first quarter. No score. And as we said, we expect a high-scoring game, but so far, nothing to show for it on the scoreboard.
I think you said it right just a couple minutes ago. Both teams are kind of feeling each other out, getting kind of their jitters out of the way. Each team has had it one time already, trying to calm themselves down. And we'll see if now the offenses can get back on track as Josh Dobbs now leads the Pirates onto the field.
Okay, so Dobbs is in the shotgun. Empty backfield, just Dobbs, and we've got 3 out to the right and 2 to the left. So this is what would appear to be certainly a passing situation for them. And as I say that, there's a quarterback draw right up the middle. So a very good call. Certainly faked out this announcer, and I guess it appears he faked out the defense as well. So,
I mean, Josh Dobbs was the second leading rusher for Alpharetta this season, over 370 yards, 8 touchdowns on himself. So once you're concentrated on these wide receivers, Dobbs can hurt you on the ground as well.
Yeah, Dobbs can be a one-man wrecking crew. He really can. Okay, 1st and 10. And the handoff goes outside to the left, and there's some space there out to the 38-yard line. Stephon Perry making the nice cut and getting free for what appears to be another first down.
And again, going into that shotgun formation that will spread the defense out. So you're having 3 and 4 cornerbacks, and with both teams kind of playing that 3-4, opening up a lot of space. And looks like Alpharetta is looking to kind of go against what they normally do, kind of change it up and go with the running attack early.
Okay, Dobbs in a shotgun, and now he's back to pass. Pass out to the right side, and it's overthrown. But I got to tell you, if that pass had been completed, it was not going to go for anywhere because he was well covered.
And what a hit that time by Brandon Holtley, outside linebacker, the senior. You saw his eyes light up when he saw that pass coming in. Slight overthrow by Dobbs, and lucky the wide receiver was able to live after that one.
Yeah, that was Daniel Clements, and he's one of the favorite targets of Dobbs, but he had no chance had he caught the ball. 2nd down, 2nd and 10. And out to the right side again, and this one is complete. That ball is complete out to the 46-yard line. Beautiful pass by Josh Dobbs.
And that just kind of shows the arm strength of Dobbs, the deep out from the left hash over to the right hash. Got it out on time. Nice pickup of 7 yards, and now bringing up a nice 3rd and 3 now, critical down here for Alpharetta on their 2nd possession.
Not an easy pass either. That pass was thrown to perfection. Now they go to the left side, and the ball is overthrown. So that is going to set up a 4th and 3. You know, Dobbs is the number 1 passer in Division 6, and you know, so far again, it looks to be a little bit nervous here. And you know, this first round playoff game, and they're playing a tough team, but we expect him, as the game continues, for him to kind of settle down a little bit, and we'll start to see a few more completions. So 4th and 2, and the Alpharetta Raiders go into punt formation. And the ball lands, bounces, and it will be the Mill Creek Hawks ball on the 22-yard line.
It actually hit Zach Turner, for Mill Creek in the leg, so he alertly had to pick it up, or else that was a live ball. So Mill Creek able to avoid disaster, and starting with a fairly okay field position from now the 22, starting their 2nd possession. And again, they're trying to get that running game going, averaging close to 300 yards a game.
Okay. David in the backfield. Hands off to no, he keeps the ball. It was a nice fake, and he kept the ball and got, let's say, about 2 or 3 yards. He faked the hand up to Lewis, and then he just moved down the right line and picked up a couple yards.
Pretty much just kind of the speed option, with the option to give it to his halfback coming through or keep it himself. Elected to keep it and didn't decide to pitch it, which was a good decision, but read very nicely by Alpharetta. Those linebackers, again, able to flow to the ball and only allow a minimal pickup. 2nd
and 8, and this time it goes to Lewis up the right side, and he'll take the ball out to about the 32-yard line. You know, Lewis gets the ball so many times, Johnny, that he really can't serve as a great decoy for these kinds of plays, because Alpharetta is just expecting him to get the ball virtually every time they have possession. And there he goes again up the left side, and I'll tell you what, it's going to take a couple, 3 guys to take him down. And it's a first down.
You're exactly right. The first guy is never going to bring Lewis down. He is so shifty, but he's also powerful. He can run through those arm tackles and is shifty enough to make a couple of moves and make the tackler miss. And one missed tackler, he has the speed to take it all the way.
So first down from the 38-yard line of Mill Creek. And once again, it goes to Lewis. And he will drag players with him, which is what he just did. He literally dragged 2 or 3 players with him over the 40-yard line to about the 42-yard line. And this guy, he is used to carrying the ball multiple times during the course of the game, so he's not going to get worn down. This is what he does.
178 carries. It's basically just keep feeding him, keep feeding him, keep feeding him, and he gets better as the game goes along. And this offensive line already is just doing anything that they want so far, having their way with the Alpharetta defensive line.
Back to pass. Now goes David, and wide open. Down to the 37-yard line goes the Mill Creek Hawks.
Matthew Purcell with the catch, and it was about a 20, 25-yard pass. And again, it's just holding those linebackers. When you fake it to Lewis, wide receiver are going to be wide open. And a very nice throw from Daniel David right on time. Now Milton is driving.
On the 38-yard line, first down. Felton and Lewis in the backfield along with David. And the handoff goes to Lewis. And he'll take 3-4 players with him for a 3 or 4 yard gain.
I mean, this is basically just getting comical now. I mean, he just gets hit right at a couple of yards past the line of scrimmage and just continues to drag these defenders with him. Another pickup of 6 yards, and now, as we said, Mill Creek settling in with that running game and spreading the defense out using their 3 and 4 wide receivers, but everyone knows they're just going to run it.
3 wide left, 1 wide right. Lewis behind David. Second and 5. And guess who? Lewis with the ball. And gets down, looks like close to the 30-yard line.
And that time it was a good job by the Alpharetta linemen or linebackers. They were able to flow to the ball. They had 2 offensive linemen pulling, but unable to make a hole for Lewis. And now bring up a very key third and 3, kind of just outside probably a field goal range. So very critical down right now. Need to pick up the first.
And the handoff comes around the left-hand side, and he slips and falls. I don't know whether that was Lewis or Felton, but he lost his footing, and it was Felton. He was not able to make the cut, and that hurts because had he been able to make that cut, he had a little bit of room.
Yeah, now like I said, it's decision time, and at the 32-yard line, it would be a 47-yard field goal from here. Probably don't have the leg for that from your kicker, so in the no man's land of are you going to go for it or try a short pooch punt, or looks like we'll probably have a timeout to kind of think over that decision.
Yeah, Mill Creek Hawks have not really had a very prolific field goal kicking game this year, so it's going to be 1 or 2. It's either going to be a pooch punt or they're going to try to go for it. And they got a 4th and 5, and the difference between the 2 teams. Daniel David has thrown the ball this year 114 times, the whole season, as compared to Dobbs, who threw the ball 344 times, so over 200 more pass attempts. So clearly this team depends upon the run, but since Alpharetta is playing for that, Johnny, that has created some openings when they have decided to go back to pass.
Yeah, I've actually been very impressed so far with Daniel David. He has made a couple of nice throws, been able to pick up a couple of first downs, and now able to get Lewis going. As we've seen all season, they've been predominantly scoring team, over 35 points a game for each of these squads, so looking for a first touchdown here. But you're exactly right. The run opens up the pass, and Daniel David has been able to connect with a couple passes early.
And that last play ended the first quarter, so John and I were talking about this going to be a high-scoring game. Well, guess what, folks? we are one quarter through, and we have nothing on the board. 0-0.
Well, that's always how it turns out. You're expecting one thing, and you get something that totally different. And again, this is why the playoffs are so great. I mean, the tendencies, I want to pass, I want to run, and then they come out doing the opposite, completely fooling the defense for both sides right now. But actually, it's the defenses that have been able to stand up so far. And it looks like we have some confusion over on the sideline. Not sure what the referees are discussing with the chain gang over there.
Well, what they have changed, it was set up at 4th and 4, but now it's looking at 4th and 3. And the Mill Creek Hawks are showing no intention of punting, so they are going to go for it. And now they just changed on the board. They changed to 4th and 5, so they're having a difficult time setting the markers here, which would obviously be important in terms of making it a play call. So we'll see where it sets up.
You're exactly right. I mean, having to 4th and 3 compared to 4th and 5, which I think should be right, is what they're now showing up on the board. That's 2 huge yards, one way or the other.
And David's going back to pass on 4th and 5. He hits his man at the 25-yard line, and we've got a first down.
Kyle Nichols again with the great reception, and I've just been impressed so far with Daniel David. He does have the strong arm, able to get it into his wide receivers. Nichols again just sits back in that soft zone, gets past the first down marker. I love how even in the high school level, you're told to get past the first down marker and then come back to the ball, not have to make a move to get that first down, and they do pick it up.
On the 24-yard line, and a handoff to, guess who? Ja'Cory Lewis. And this time Alpharetta was waiting for him, so picked up a couple yards. You know, the interesting thing here is that Daniel David is a sophomore and shows a lot of poise. And even though he only throws the ball 114 times this year, his percentage of completion is very high. So he knows how to use his runners to set up his passing game. 2nd and 10. They gave him no gain on that play. And back to pass. Time. Wide open and overthrew his receiver.
Almost intercepted, but the referees are going to confer and rule that it was a skipped pass, so no interception, but a dangerous throw that time from Daniel David. Looks like he threw it a little bit late. Defender almost made him pay, and David actually took a nice shot there at the end of the play, so good to see him back in firing again, but a very dangerous play. Now bring up 3rd and long.
3rd and 10, and again, it would appear to be an obvious pass play, but we'll see what happens. 2 wide left, 1 right, 2 men in the backfield along with David. And a pitch to the right side to Felton, and he gets it down to about the 17-yard line.
Great tackle that time by Trey Whitaker in the open field. Allowed them to get 6 or 7, but they needed the full 10. So now another decision time as it's going to bring up 4th and medium again, 4th and 3. And again, no indication with a place kicker coming out. So it looks like they're going to go for it again. And a lot of gambling so far going on in this game.
Yeah, they have a lot of weapons. And David is showing that he can pass in the clutch when he needs to. So at a 4th and 4, this can be a run or a pass given this kind of an offense. And back to pass. A little bit of pressure. Pass over the middle. And it is complete, and it looks like enough for a first down.
Wow, again, it's another great job. Matthew Purcell on the catch. But again, getting past the chains before he shows his quarterback his numbers. Delivered right on time, picking up just enough for that first down. Again, great play.
1st and 10 from the 17. Daniel David really engineering one heck of a drive here. He has Ja'Cory Lewis in the backfield with him. Handoff to Lewis off the right side, and maybe a yard or 2. So we'll set up a 2nd down, and we'll see where they spot it. 9:28 left here in the first half. So he picked up 3, 2nd and 7. Lewis in the backfield with David, 3 wide left, 1 wide right. And we're going to have a penalty. Yeah, false start against Mill Creek. And boy, Johnny, that hurts when you're driving and you're in the red zone and that happens. That makes the coach's hair turn gray.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of mental mistakes, and it looked like it was Felton who was coming in motion, but just didn't get set in time to cause the penalty. But again, a run-oriented team, you can't put yourself 5 yards back. Again, that's going to be their second penalty of the game, I believe now.
2nd and 12 now, in motion, and David is rolling to the left, and he's in trouble. And he has to just throw the ball out of bounds. He faked to Felton coming over. The Raiders did not take the fake. And, in fact, they were blitzing, and David just had to throw the ball away.
You're exactly right. Devin Isaac, the big defensive lineman, was chasing and wasn't able to get the sack, but pressured David just enough to make him have to hurry the throw. But another smart decision. Instead of taking the sack and backing his team up 7-8 yards, he was able to get rid of it. It wasn't intentional grounding. He was out of the pocket. He got it past the line of scrimmage, so a play that could have been really bad for him just turned out to be an incompletion. Live to play another down. Keep yourself in field goal range and give yourself a chance now to pick up the first down.
3rd and 12, and the stoppage to play again. Let's see what. Timeout. Mill Creek called the timeout. This is, here's a situation where they've got a 3rd and 12. Again, it would appear to be a very obvious passing play, and thus far, Daniel David has really come through in the clutch when these passing situations have come up.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Been very impressed. And you said just a sophomore, so he has lots of good years ahead of him in getting a taste of playoff action so far and on the road, no doubt. So this is a hostile environment that he's coming into. The couple of plays that they've needed him to come up with a big throw, he has been able to convert and pick up very good first downs plays for Mill Creek. But again, this is going to bring up a huge 3rd down play now of, do you go conservative and try to kick the field goal, or do you try to go for maybe a touchdown? We'll wait and see what they come up with.
Yeah, so far on 4th down plays, they have gone for it, but they need to pick up some yards here. They don't want to be in a 4th and 12, in the red zone. So let's see what the call is. Again, 3 wide left, Lewis in the backfield with David. And they're coming. The blitz is coming. And it is incomplete.
They went with the wide receiver screen. Looked like it was intended for Felton, and they had a nice play call. Caught Alpharetta with the blitz. Let all the defenders come at it. David got it off, but Felton is unable to make the catch, and that looked like that was going to be for a big gain. But now 4th down, we will get to see the field goal kicker now for Mill Creek.
Yeah, so Bryson King will be kicking the extra point. It will be if he makes it, it'll be a 32-yard field goal. Ball down. And the kick is good. So, with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second quarter, in what Johnny and I thought was going to be a high-scoring ball game, we find ourselves at a 3-0 margin. And we'll have the Mill Creek Hawk kicking off to Alpharetta. And I'll tell you, Johnny, at this point, I think that the Alpharetta fans have to be a little stunned that their offense, which is such a high-powered offense, has really shown very little.
Well, the key right now is that running game for Mill Creek. They're able to not only keep the ball for themselves, get their offense on the field, but keep the defense on the field for Alpharetta, but more importantly, that offense for Alpharetta on the sideline, and that's the best way to keep a high-powered offense from scoring a lot. Just don't let them have the ball.
And for live scoring and highlights of all the games Play On Sports is covering, go to www.playonsports.com/football playoffs. So 8:40 left here in the second quarter, and the Mill Creek Hawks will be kicking off to the Alpharetta Raiders. C.J. Washington and Chase Stratton will be back to receive the kick. And it's picked up at the 15. And it's brought out to about the 25, 26-yard line. So the fans here in Alpharetta getting a little bit restless. They want their team to start showing what got them here in the first place. which is this high-powered offense and a lot of passing through the air. So let's see what Mr. Dobbs can do in their third possession. We've got an injury on the field, so
looks like that is Naeem Mustafa, one of the defensive linemen for Alpharetta, that is down. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him on the kick return, if he just had his leg kind of roll out underneath him. He was hopping to the sideline as if he was trying to make it by his own power, but then fell down about 10 yards shy. So the medical staff attending to him, and that's one thing that you never want to see, especially in the playoffs, is for someone to get hurt. But at least he is sitting up now, so that is a good sign.
And he is one of their defensive stalwarts. I mean, so if he can't come out, that's going to be a real tough blow for the Alpharetta defensive team, especially against a team like Mill Creek that relies so heavily on the run. And he is being helped off the field. He cannot put pressure what would appear to be on his left foot.
Yeah, he's putting no pressure whatsoever, having two of the trainers help him off. And you're exactly right. That would be a huge blow with this running game of Mill Creek, of already piling up yards, just handing it to Lewis. So hopefully he'll be able to come back onto the field. But again, Dobbs in this offense needs to come up with a big play, but they have several good options, and now they have throughout the entire season one quick play, and it's 7-3.
Okay, first down. Dobbs rolling to the right. And has to throw the ball out of bounds. He was hurried, actually knocked down. And that puts a 2nd 10. You know, during the season, Dobbs was very successful in throwing slam passes over the middle. You know, quick 7, 8, 9, 10-yard passes. We haven't seen much of that yet tonight, but do expect it before too much longer. 2nd and 10. Ball on the 27. And a handoff up the middle, and there really isn't much room. Macon takes the ball for maybe two.
I think they're going to only give him one, so bringing up a very big 3rd down now here for Dobbs, and they really need to pick this one up, and they need to come up with a very good play call right here.
Okay, they have a spot as 3rd and 9. Dobbs has three receivers out to the right, one to the left. Macon in the backfield with him. Back to pass. And that pass is completed just near the 40-yard line.
Great pickup for Alpharetta, and that offensive line did exactly what they needed to. They gave Dobbs a lot of time in the backfield to find his wide receiver, and picking up about 15, 16 yards on that one. Now up to the 40, and this is as far as they've gotten so far.
And that's just what the doctor ordered. They needed that pass. That was a critical 3rd down play. Handoff in the backfield to Macon, and once again, the Mill Creek Hawks are waiting for him. So what we're finding here is pretty much what we expected as far as the offensive game plan for the Alpharetta Raiders. Heavy predominance on pass. Didn't expect a lot from running, and so far the running game has not really proved very effective. And if they're going to win this game, it's going to have to be on the arm of Josh Dobbs.
And if Mill Creek can contain the running game with just their 3 defensive linemen, Justin Ottawu, Kelsey Griffin, and Ben Ottawu, the 2 brothers on the defensive end, this is going to be a great game for them.
So an incomplete pass to the running back, Stephon Perry, so that sets up a 3rd and 11. Again, another critical 3rd down play for the Alpharetta Raiders.
And with no running game, I know they like to pass it, but you would like to see a little bit of balance from your offensive team. But as you said, so far they've just been relegated to the pass only in this one.
Dobbs back to pass. He is in trouble, and he is knocked down, but there's a flag. So we'll have to see whether it's a holding in the backfield or something else, but did not have much time to set up.
Again, just a 4-man rush for Mill Creek, and that was Justin Ottawu that came in to get the sack and finally finish off Dobbs, and it will be holding so that penalty will be declined. So after picking up a key third down, they're able to pick up the second. And again, great defense so far for Mill Creek.
So we have 6:37 left in the second quarter, and we've got a 3-0 score. And
who would have thunk it?
This is quite unbelievable. So Alpharetta will be going back to kick. Evan Trout will be doing the punting. And the Mill Creek Hawks are setting up at about the 37-yard line or so, anticipating the punt. Short kick, fair catch called at the 42-yard line.
And this will give Mill Creek, already leading 3-0, with great field position just across their own 40-yard line. And with running backs like Lewis, expect another heavy dose of Lewis as we've seen so far in this contest. But again, they can take a lot of time off that clock. And Alpharetta on the other side, their defense, having their offense just gone 3 and out again, has to go right back out onto the field.
And with the ball, 1st and 10. And the handoff goes right up the middle to Ja'Cory Lewis for a pickup of, looks like 3 or 4 yards.
But again, now Alpharetta is having to put another kind of 7th and maybe even an 8th man in the box to stop Lewis, and that will just open up the pass even more for Daniel David, who has shown so far that he is able to complete the passes right now. So a dangerous situation now for Alpharetta as they're trying to clog the line of scrimmage to stop Lewis, but then have Daniel to deal with on the pass.
Okay, Lewis again, this time up the left, and takes the ball out to what would appear to be about the 47-yard line. So third down, and we'll see where they spot it. You know, with the game plan that Mill Creek has, I mean, being the running game, and they do eat up a lot of the clock. So if they can maintain this drive, it will give Alpharetta not a lot of time to try to score before the half is over. 3rd and 5. David going back to pass this time. Little screen pass out to the left, and there is wide open. There is no one going to get him. He trips and falls, but I think, let's see where they're
going to call him down right at the 6-inch line. It looked like the turf monster, I guess, reached up and grabbed him, because all he had to do was make one little cut, got him a little bit off balance, and all the way down to the 6-inch line. A nice 49 and a half yard reception on that one.
Folks, there was nobody there to stop that screen pass. I mean, he had daylight, and had he not tripped on the turf, he was in. So 5 minutes and 9 seconds left and in the half, and Mill Creek is knocking on the door once again, but this time to go in for the score. Lewis in the backfield, power backfield, and Lewis gets the ball, and if he's not in, yes, he's in. He's in. So we have a 9-0 game right now. Ja'Cory Lewis powering in off of the right guard. And I'll tell you, that screen pass was a thing of beauty, Johnny, just a thing of beauty.
It was just an excellent play call, and again, great execution by the offensive lineman for Mill Creek. They did the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, let all the defenders come in after the quarterback, dumps it off right over their heads. Great blocking downfield, and almost got to the touchdown. Just had to wait one more play.
Bryson King puts the ball up and good. So we have a 10-0 score with 4:51 left in the first half. 4:51, 10-0. The Mill Creek Hawks up on the Alpharetta Raiders. For all the best coverage of Georgia football throughout the playoffs, go to WSBTV.com. And I'll tell you, this is a very interesting game, albeit a very surprising game at this point. Now, again, we have 4 minutes left in the second quarter, and we have a whole second half to go. But I'd be curious to see what is going to go on with the coach and his team at halftime for Alpharetta, because the plan in place here for the first half, at least at this point, is not working.
Well, I mean, both teams came in with the identical 7-3 records, so this wasn't one of these classic mismatch games. These teams are very close together, very well equaled on talent level. And it just came down to Alpharetta getting the home field advantage, but so far that hasn't really been a deterrent for Mill Creek. They basically played their game, getting that running game going, keeping Dobbs on the sideline. So definitely Mill Creek taking advantage so far, and who can make those halftime adjustments to kind of get their team back in it. But now a critical drive for Alpharetta. Dobbs needs to get some points.
And here comes the kickoff. It's a short kickoff and taken out of bounds at the 27-yard line. You know, Johnny, we haven't seen the statistics yet for first half, but I think Dan David, the non-passing starting quarterback for Mill Creek, is probably pretty close, if not have more yards than the much-heralded Josh Dobbs, the quarterback. I mean...
and that's a very good point, and something for Alpharetta to win this game. They couldn't have it be anywhere near close. I mean, Daniel David's thrown it a third of the time as Josh Dobbs had, so with his opportunities, though, I've just been very impressed with how he's composed himself and just a sophomore. So Josh Dobbs needs to kind of pick up his game. So does the offensive line for Alpharetta.
4:48 to play here in the half. Back to pass. Goes Dobbs. Has time. Overthrows his receiver. And that's an interception by Mill Creek.
Intercepted by Chris Dickhute, and that was just a complete overthrow and mistake by Josh Dobbs. You cannot have that. You cannot throw that. He threw it into triple coverage. It was just an easy interception for right there. So what I said couldn't happen actually did happen.
I don't know if it was a bad route or what, but there was no chance of a completion, and Mill Creek, the defensive back, was just waiting for the ball. So Mill Creek has the ball back, and they have it back in Alpharetta territory, and there's still plenty of time for them to go in for another score. And David once more, he is back to pass, and he has a man free at the 20-yard line.
27-yard gain that time for Purcell, who's become the go-to wide receiver. And again, just another strike from Daniel David. And I love the play calling. Right after an interception, you go for a big play down the field. Great pass protection again. So the offensive line showing that they can not only run block, but also pass protect. And this could get ugly kind of soon if they're able to put another touchdown on the board.
Daniel David has been one impressive quarterback here. I don't care whether it's a sophomore, junior, or senior. He is very impressive here in the first half. Handoff to Lewis up the middle. And Jacory takes 2 or 3 on his shoulders into about the 18-yard line. Daniel David is getting the time, and his completion percentage has got to be very high, very much the way it was during the regular season. During the regular season, he didn't throw a lot of passes, but again, when he did throw them, he usually completed them, and he's doing the exact same thing here tonight.
Again, just those high percentage throws in that running game from Jacory Lewis opening up that pass. So I'm surprised at how well he's had success, but like you said, he's had it all season. 2nd and 6, and the handoff goes to Lewis. And Lewis goes up the middle and down to about the 14-yard line. So at some point for Alpharetta, you're just going to have to commit. You're going to have 8, maybe 9 guys in the box, do some stunning up front, some twists with your linebackers maybe. They just have to commit on one side of the ball. Hey, we're going to stop Lewis and make you throw it, or we're going to stop the pass.
3rd and 6, the handoff to Lewis going around the right side. And guess what? He's going all the way. Jacory Lewis off right tackle, and I want to tell you something. You could have driven a truck through that hole.
I mean, that right side led by Joe Cox, Jacob Lee, Michael Cheeks, Kyle Nichols, the wide receiver, getting great blocks. And you said it, Lewis just walks in for the touchdown. And another great drive, very efficient. Only took, 4 plays to cover the 40 yards or so. So just another great drive right now by Mill Creek. They're clicking on all cylinders.
16-0, and with the extra point, it's good. It is 17-0, and I will tell you right now, you have a lot of stunned folks from Alpharetta sitting in the stands. It's getting cool here tonight. Temperature-wise, we're probably in the low 40s, and with a 17-0 score, it's not making the conditions any more pleasant for these Alpharetta fans who came out here to expect a high-scoring game with their Alpharetta Raiders putting points on the board. No one anticipated to be at the 3-minute mark and have a goose egg for Alpharetta Raiders on the scoreboard.
You're exactly right. I mean, you hit on everything. the Raiders were supposed to come in, put a lot on the board. Dobbs has not played his best game. We were talking earlier, the first and second drive, about the jitters, but I think you can put that past him now. He needs to kind of up his game a little bit. Everybody needs to kind of have like a gut check of like, we're down 17-0 at home, but the leaders on this team are going to have to step up, say, hey, we can still do this. We have the offense to do that. That's what Dobbs needs to be telling his folks. It may not have been a very good first half, but that's why they play two halves. You have to play a complete game, so by no means is Alpharetta out of this one.
Well, there's 3 minutes to go in the first half, so they have time to get the ball and drive down and make a score, but they really need it. All right, there's the kickoff return and brought out to the 37-yard line.
So this is the best field position that they've had so far. Returned by Trey Whitaker up, like you said, to the 36 with the 14-yard return. So Dobbs just has to compose everybody, say, all right, I made a mistake. Let's all try to make up for it. We can't get all 17 points back on one play, but get it one touchdown at a time. Need to have some momentum going into the half, though. This drive is critical.
All right, Dobbs in the shotgun, one man with him. 3 out, 3 wide to the right, 1 to the left. And a little quick pass to Macon, and he is leveled. They will spot the ball at the 37-yard line.
Kenyatta James was able to light the runner up on that one. And again, so far, Dobbs has been just a little bit high, kind of leading his receivers just a little too much. Needs to get the ball down a little bit.
2:30 left. Dobbs in the backfield, flanked by two running backs. He has 2 wide right, 1 left. 2:20. And back to pass. He has the time. Over the middle. And that's complete. And that ball goes down to the 35-yard line. Complete to Blake Rollinson.
And again, we haven't heard much of anything from Carlos Burst or Daniel Clemens, the 2 wide receivers, combining for over 100 catches and over 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns. So great job so far for this Mill Creek defense. I don't think either of them have a catch so far, do they?
I don't think so. I think no. So they're on the 37-yard line now, and there's a handoff. No, Dobbs keeps the ball. He faked it to Macon and then kept it and ran out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. So that stops the clock. A minute and 55 left at the 31-yard line. They need a score. I mean, a touchdown certainly would be terrific, but if not a touchdown, a field goal, they really need to get on the scoreboard before the end of the first half.
And I would assume that this is probably 4-down territory right now. Mill Creek is going to be receiving the second half, so they do need that touchdown.
Blitz coming, and there's a screen pass. And the ball's taken down to about the 25-yard line.
And again, screen on the play call looked like it was going to go for a lot more than it did, but good job of recognition by those linebackers for Mill Creek. Once they got the ball delivered to his wide receiver, made one man miss, but then the rest of the swarming tackling, and they are actually going to bring him up for the first down. So it looked like it could have gone for a lot more, so good job of limiting that play for Mill Creek's defense.
And that was Rollinson on the reception. He's got 2 in this drive, and back to pass goes Dobbs. He has time now. He scrambles. And over the middle, almost picked off, but incomplete.
That was our man again, Chris DeCute, almost had his second interception of the contest, and the cardinal sin right there for Dobbs, throwing it against his body, rolling to his right, very hard throw to go all the way back to his left, but able to live another down on this one.
1:21 left, 2nd and 10. Dobbs has 3 wide receivers to the right, and he's rolling to the right. And he passes the ball, he overthrows him. And Johnny, most of the errant passes that Dobbs has had tonight have been overthrows.
Yeah, it just seems like he's getting a little too excited with that arm. He definitely has the arm strength. We're not knocking him on that, but just needs to kind of get his feet set a little bit, have a little bit more better mechanics with that arm, and lower it down just a little bit. He doesn't have to throw it as hard as he's thrown some of these passes. I know that was going to be in tight coverage, but take a little bit off, try to focus more on the accuracy.
an accurate pass, and that would have been a catch. So 3rd and 10, and you're right, we are in 4-down territory. And Dobbs back to pass, and he's in trouble. And he flips it away, and it is caught by Macon. So Dobbs, on the verge of being tackled behind the line of scrimmage, finds Macon, his halfback, free, and flipped the ball underhand, and it is good for a 1st down.
You think you've been watching a little bit of Brett Favre? That was reminiscent of a couple plays that he would pull, flipping it with the opposite hand and everything, and a huge 3rd down conversion on that one.
A huge one indeed. 1:04 left. They are driving. Dobbs back to pass. Again, scrambling right. And he's in trouble, and he throws it to it. A wide open man in the end zone. Touchdown! So... And that, I believe, is Macon. Macon, the halfback, I believe, made that catch. Let's get confirmation.
I think you're right. I think it was Macon. And just running a crossing route in the back of the end zone. Mill Creek lost him in the back of the end zone. And great job by Dobbs of extending the play. His first option wasn't out there, but that's when his scrambling ability takes place. And instead of trying to rush it, then he finds Macon in the back of the end zone and exactly what they needed.
Boy, I'll tell you what. That was a critical drive because with 52 seconds left and down 17-0, if they go to halftime empty-handed, that is just not a good picture. But now, perhaps momentum is going to come back to Alpharetta, and they will have the extra point attempt here in a moment. But there's an encroachment penalty on Mill Creek, so let's see where they set this up. 17-6 right now. Penalties declined on the encroachment call. So we have 52 seconds left, 17-6, and for Alpharetta folks, they're hoping it's soon to be 17-7. We'll see. Ball down. And the kick is good. So it is 17-7. The Mill Creek Hawks are up over the Alpharetta Raiders here in Alpharetta. So they're basically Alpharetta has spotted the Mill Creek Hawks 10 points with 52 seconds left. We'll see whether Mill Creek decides to do something with it or just sit on and go into halftime with a 10-point lead.
Well, it all kind of depends on what kind of return they get on this kickoff. But again, now the sideline for Alpharetta starting to liven up just a little bit. You saw a lot of the heads down and really no one talking to each other when it was 17-0. But how one score can change, like you said, that whole momentum of the contest. And now it's going to go back onto that defense for Alpharetta.
For the best coverage of Georgia football throughout the playoffs, go to WSPTV.com. So here we go. Alpharetta will be kicking off with, again, 52 seconds left. And a 17-7 score. Mill Creek Hawks will get their hands on the ball for a few downs, and we'll see what they do with it. But I'll tell you something. I don't think anyone here in at the stadium expected this kind of a situation going into halftime, a 17-7 score. But that's what it is. And so Mill Creek waiting for the kick. Josh Dobbs getting a little bit more success this last series of downs by rolling to the right, and probably see more of that in the second half. A squibber picked up by Mill Creek, and he's got some running room, folks. He's got some running room, folks, going down the right sideline, and tackled at the 35-yard line. A tremendous tackle. Without that tackle, that's a touchdown.
Yeah, the touchdown-saving tackle, but you see it all the time, like with those squib kicks. You never know where the ball is going to bounce, and it hits an up man for Mill Creek. So they were fortunate enough to pick it up, but it looks like it's going to be all for naught as there's a block in the back after the play. So they would have had the ball all the way at the Alpharetta 38-yard line. Instead, they're going to mark it all the way back, probably inside the, well, they're going to call it at the 40. Not sure where they're going to end up spotting it now, but big break for Alpharetta. And unfortunate now for Milton all the way back at the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
So about a 30-yard penalty. So if they had gotten the original spot, they probably could have gone for some more points. But now with this one, you just hand it off to Lewis. But again, that's no cinch. If you're just supposed to tackle Lewis, it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, and that was Michael Shakes who got that kickoff return. And I'll tell you something, he was one tackle away from going all the way. Of course, it wouldn't have called back anyway, but a very nice run. So let's see what they do. Actually, David's going back to pass. They want some more. Screen pass, overthrown that time.
And that one was pretty dangerous indeed. I mean, the defensive lineman, if he'd have turned around, may have been able to get his big paw up there for the interception on the overthrow on the screen. So now you take your first shot. You had success earlier on about a 48, 49-yard screen pass, so they tried it again, had it set up again, but a little inaccurate pass by David. So now probably with a 2nd and long with only 34 seconds remaining, they'll probably just hand it off.
Yeah. And be very happy to go into halftime up by 10 points here in Alpharetta. 2nd and 10. But you know what? David's going back. He is not content. And he has a ball picked off. The ball is picked off by Alpharetta and down to the 43-yard line.
Trey Whitaker almost had an interception earlier in the first quarter. Comes up with a huge one here. And that's kind of what I don't understand. That's what you can't do if you're Mill Creek. You get greedy maybe on the first play, it doesn't work, so just hand it off to Lewis, go into halftime up 10 points. Instead, you give it back to Josh Dobbs on your side of the field at the 42, 43-yard line and getting even more momentum. They could even take it in for some more points. They do have 2 timeouts left, so a couple quick passes, maybe take one shot at the end zone, try to set your field goal kicker up, and just kind of a mistake on my mind on the play calling for going for it.
Yeah, that call is going to be second-guessed long after this game is over because you're right. Run the ball a couple plays and go into halftime comfortably up 17-7, but now you're giving the ball back to Dobbs in Mill Creek territory, and he's going back to pass. He's rolling right, and he's in a little bit of trouble, but now he rolls left. And he finds a man complete down to the 23-yard line, out of bounds.
Just a great job again of Dobbs by extending the play, and he's gotten that one big touchdown completion already, looking for more, and now you start seeing that confidence with Dobbs starting to show. He goes into the huddle. He's commanding the huddle. He's saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get back in the game. We're going to score again, and that's the confidence you need to have, and that's the confidence you like to see from your quarterback.
14 seconds left, and they are on about the 27-yard line.
But still 2 timeouts, so you can use the entire field right now. And your entire playbook is open as long as you tell everybody as soon as you get down, if it's not out of bounds, you call timeout immediately.
All right, that's right. And Dobbs is back to pass now. And he's scrambling, and he has some room, folks. He has some room, and he's going to take advantage of it. He's still on his feet and knocked down finally at about the 17-yard line. But how much time?
They were able to get that timeout with 3.2 seconds remaining. But again, good decision by Dobbs. His first couple of options were not open on the pass. So instead of trying to force something and try to throw his second interception, he keeps it himself, scrambles for a good 8 yards, and now going to set up a pretty easy and manageable field goal. And what once was a 17-0 lead for the Raiders is about to probably get a little closer.
So 3.2 seconds left. 17-7 the score, and the Mill Creek Hawks were kind enough to literally give the ball back over to Alpharetta. Again, that play calling will be second guessed here if this comes back and affects the outcome of the game, because clearly at 17-7, momentum still was definitely in the favor of the Mill Creek Hawks, but they were still going to try to score before the end of the half, and it came back to bite them. So we've got a field goal attempt. It's going to be spotted at the 25. This will make it a 35-yard field goal from the right hash mark. Thomas Waller will be trying to do the kicking. 35-yard field goal, right hash mark, 3.2 seconds left in the half.
Mill Creek doing a lot of moving around, trying to set up a block, looks like.
Ball down, kick up. No good, just fell short.
But we do have a flag. Look like it's going to be either running into the kicker or a roughing the kicker. So I think he's going to get another shot a little bit closer. And the head coach for Mill Creek is a little bit irate over there. Not happy with the call, but kicker fell down, and we will get a penalty. and it's going to be running into the kicker, so it's just going to be a 5-yard penalty, but move them 5 yards closer, so we will get an untimed down.
Josh, this last minute and 30 seconds of this half has been a disaster for Mill Creek Hawks.
I mean, everything was going right for them. You're saying 17-0. You give one touchdown by Alpharetta. All right, just go into the half, still up by 10. A big interception you can't have. Now another mistake by running into the kicker on a missed field goal to give him another shot.
This time it'll be a 30-yard kick. Ball being marked at the 20. And
well, it's actually going to be marked at the 14-yard line.
Okay.
So it'll still be about a 31-yard attempt. But just the mistakes, like you said, in the last 2 minutes of the game, everything going right for Mill Creek, and then it all's falling apart.
So join the conversation about high school sports. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at PlayOnSports, hashtag GHSA Football. You know, again, the momentum was totally in favor of Mill Creek Hawks, and a kickoff return that they got, and Mill Creek took down to the 30-yard line, but then got called back because of a block in the back. And from that point on, in this last minute and a half of the second quarter, nothing has gone right for the Mill Creek Hawks.
Yeah, so if they end up losing this game, if Alpharetta comes back, that's going to be a play that you're going to look at. I mean, it may seem insignificant at the time, just, it's a 15-yard block in the back penalty on a kick return, but that changed the entire complexion of this game. It made them forced to go down the field trying to get more, led to the interception. Now can lead to another extra field goal here for Alpharetta, that normal possession they wouldn't have gotten. So this is going to hopefully probably become a one-score game, and we still have a whole second half to go.
And very questionable play calling, because with that penalty, they were back on their own 30-yard line with, I think, 35 or 40 seconds left. So why they decided to keep trying to pass, guess we'll never know. So the ball will be kicked from the 20 and making it a 30-yard field goal attempt. The ball down. Kick is up. And it's good. So 17-10. And I got to tell you, folks, in a 3-minute time span, the last 3 minutes of this first half, the whole complexion of the game changed. That's what makes the game of football so fascinating. We are at halftime with the score, the Mill Creek Hawks 17 and the Alpharetta Raiders 10. And let's take a timeout and let's check out the halftime activity here.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
one match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot at this.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Well, we're still at halftime here. The score is 17-10. I'm Phil Singer, and I'm here along with Johnny Doherty and our producer Corey and our cameraman Ian. And it's been a very interesting first half. And Johnny, why don't you take our fans through how we got to this interesting 17-10 score?
Well, it was a scoreless first quarter, all goose eggs, and then Mill Creek finally got on the board with a 32-yard field goal by Jake Richards. That made it 3-0 Mill Creek early in the second quarter. Then after a long 49-yard screen pass and reception, a 1-yard touchdown run by Ja'Cory Lewis made it 10-0 Mill Creek, and that pretty much quieted the entire crowd here at Alpharetta. And then on the next possession, Josh Dobbs threw it to the wrong team, intercepted by Chris DeCute for his first interception of the contest. That led to another rushing touchdown from Ja'Cory Lewis, this time a 26-yarder. So midway through the second quarter, it was 17-0 Mill Creek. And then Alpharetta finally got onto the scoreboard with a 12-yard touchdown reception by Julian Macon after a nice scramble by Josh Dobbs, finding Macon in the back of the end zone. That made it 17-7 Mill Creek. And then after a couple of questionable kind of play calls for Mill Creek, gave the ball back again to Josh Dobbs, and they were able to drive down with a short field and make a 30-yard field goal by Thomas Waller, making it 17-0 Mill Creek. But Alpharetta has to go into the halftime and now coming back out onto the field, feeling a lot better about themselves, even though they are down. Mill Creek with the lead 17-10. And now to tell us about some of the other games going on that we have in this winner-take-all playoff games.
Well, tonight's a first round of high school playoffs here at the GHSA, and so we'll give you a few scores here at halftime. Woodward Academy playing North Hall High School, and they are down 14-0, and so that's the story there. Marietta High School is playing Lowndes High School, and it is 9-3 in favor of. Oh, having a problem. 9-3 in favor of. Hold on a second. In favor of Marietta. Okay. Brookwood is playing Lassiter, and Lassiter is up 21-3. And Chattahoochee High School is playing Norcross, and Norcross is up 20-0. Norcross coming into the playoffs here, undefeated, 10-0. So you expect them to kind of move forward. Walton High School over Parkview, 7-0. We have Northside High School, Warner Robins up 34-0 over Effingham County High School. And let's try to get a couple more here before the half starts. We have Lovejoy High School up on Tri-Cities High School at 14-0. Grayson High School 34-6 over Wheeler County High School. And the last one we'll give you right now would be West Forsyth High School 31-14 up on Collins Hill High School. A lot of action on Friday night high school playoffs here in Georgia. And we'll try to give you some more as the night goes on. But we have a very interesting game going on right here, as Johnny was telling us, 17-10. And if you're a believer in momentum and the importance and value of a momentum, you'd have to say that Mill Creek had the momentum going for them for 80% of the first half. And then in the last literally 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, things started to change radically in the favor of the home team, Alpharetta Raiders. And so that's what got us to where we are right now, the 17-10 margin. In fact, even the last play of the game, last play of the first half, I should say, there was a penalty on Mill Creek, which allowed the Alpharetta Raiders to take a field goal 5 yards shorter. And they missed the original one, which was from 35 yards. And when they got the 5 yards from the penalty, they put it through to make it 17-10. So everything going right for Mill Creek Hawks for the first quarter and most of the second quarter. And then the last few minutes of the second quarter, things changed in a big way in favor of the Alpharetta Raiders, Johnny.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Milton had everybody, or Mill Creek had Alpharetta on the ropes for much of the first half of the game, and then a 15-yard block in the back penalty on a kickoff return after Alpharetta scored their first touchdown made a huge difference, and then they tried to go for some more points and then had an interception by Alpharetta, which eventually led to another 3 put on the board for the Raiders. So they do have the crowd back on their side, and the winner of this matchup will take on next week the winner of the Lassiter and Brookwood game, and right now that is Lassiter, and that would be Eddie Prince versus Josh Dobbs. So that would be a great quarterback matchup if Alpharetta is able to pull this one off.
And we were giving some scores before, but for live scoring and highlights of all the games Play On Sports is covering, be sure to go to www.playonsports.com/football playoffs. So we're about to get started here in a moment or two with the second half. And again, when we started off the game, we said that both of these teams came in with very powerful offenses. Both teams average over 30 points a game. And, it's 17-10 right now, so theoretically if the Mill Creek Hawks got another 17, that would put them over 30. The Raiders at 10, they're going to have to put a few more points on the board to get to the 30-point mark. But clearly, it seems like the Alpharetta Raiders have caught stride here in the last few minutes of the game, and hopefully, at least for the Alpharetta fans, they can keep that going as we enter the second half of the game.
And, past the last 2 or 3 drives, this defense for Mill Creek was pretty dominant. They were stopping the run. They were making Josh Dobbs throw on the run, getting a lot of pressure. And one of the key things that I haven't seen a whole lot of, where's Carlos Burse and Daniel Clements, the 2 big wide receivers coming into the contest that we knew were going to have big games for Alpharetta to come out with the victory, have been pretty much non-existent so far. So in that aspect, for Alpharetta to only be down a touchdown, you got to be kind of feeling good about yourself, but you need those 2 big wide receivers to step up in this second half.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of an offensive strategy Mill Creek puts into play here in the second half. They passed the ball more than what we expected, and they had some very good results with the exception of that interception at the end of the first half. But they are, make no mistake, the Mill Creek Hawks, they are a running offense. They have 2 guys that, between the 2 of them, ran for over 2,000 yards this year, and they logged over 200 carries during the year. So the reality here is that we expect to see a lot of that kind of running ground game for Mill Creek in the second half. They've had success with it and also chews up the clock, and by doing so, that keeps Josh Dobbs off the field for Alpharetta.
And Ja'Cory Lewis, has had a great game so far. He's been as good as advertised with the 2 touchdown runs, so that's going to be the focal point again for this defensive front for Alpharetta. How are you going to stop Lewis and try to make Daniel David beat you? But so far, when he's been called upon, he has been making the throws. I've been very impressed. Again, just a sophomore, so he still has lots of growing to come into his own, but performing very admirably so far in his first away playoff game for Mill Creek. And they're going to have to either sell out to try to stop Lewis and force Daniel David to beat him, or let Lewis run wild and hope David can throw a couple more interceptions. But who can make the halftime adjustments will get them to the second round of the state playoffs.
All right, well, Felton and Cheeks are back to receive the kick from the Alpharetta Raiders, and we're just about ready to get started here in the second half. 17-10, the Mill Creek Hawks up on the Alpharetta Raiders here from Alpharetta. Beautiful night for football. It's probably around 40 degrees right now. Very little wind, so that is not a factor. We did have some rain here early in the week, but the field is in very good condition. So, again, the conditions are just ideal for a first-round playoff game here in Georgia. So, referee's discussing something with the kicker for Alpharetta. Not sure exactly what it is, but everyone is ready, and fans are ready, and they're all looking forward to a very exciting second half.
In a great crowd for both sides. Both sides very much filled up. Mill Creek Hawks traveled very well, and now we're underway.
Okay, the kick goes to the right sideline, and getting it at the 20-yard line is Cheeks, I believe, and he brings the ball out to the 30-yard line.
So again, pretty decent field position that Mill Creek has been able to take advantage so far with their 17 points in the first half. And now, like I said, the adjustments. Who's going to make the better halftime adjustments to come out with the victory? Still a half of football. One play, one possession can kind of turn the whole tide.
So Daniel David, the sophomore quarterback who had a very, very good first half with the exception of that one interception, calling the plays. Lewis behind him, and the handoff goes to Lewis. And there's a big hole. And Lewis just powers his way through to the 45, 46-yard line. This is the second time that Lewis has gotten the ball. The first time when he went in for the touchdown, when literally the Mill Creek Hawks just blew a wide hole, and Lewis just went through it very easily.
A nice 26, 27-yard gain on the first play of the second half. And like you said, the first point of contact, no one even touched him until the 45-yard line of Alpharetta.
So they're going to try it. No, a fake handoff to Lewis, and Daniel David takes the ball himself and goes out of bounds to the 38-yard line. So that's the problem that the Raiders are facing. They are so keyed on Lewis that fakes that go to Lewis, they go for it, and that has given David the opportunity to do play action as well as, in this case, taking the ball and running himself.
Yeah, and David was no slouch running himself. He had 4 touchdowns during the regular season, and he's just kind of reading the defensive end. If he crashes in, he keeps it himself. A nice pickup of 5-6 yards himself.
2nd and 5, and the handoff goes to our man, Corey Lewis. No, I take it back. That's Felton, I believe. So they gave Lewis a little bit of a rest on that one, and let's see where they spotted.
The ball carrier, number 22, Jordan Sylvain.
So now a chance for this Alpharetta defense to come in and make a stop. They got gashed on that first play from scrimmage, came back strong on the next 2, but one of their problems has been getting off the field on 3rd down. So
they're at the 37-yard line of Alpharetta, and the handoff goes to Lewis, and guess what? There's another big hole, and Lewis is going, and he's gone. That's a touchdown.
Again, just a gaping hole on that right-hand side of the offensive line for Mill Creek. Matt Kopp, the center, Joe Cox, the right guard, Jacob Lee, the right tackle, and they're just opening up huge holes again for a nice 40-yard rushing touchdown, and that's one way to get the momentum back onto your side.
Folks, Lewis has gotten the ball twice in the first half. This is the first possession, and literally, again, a truck could have gone through both of those holes. They are just blowing these holes wide open, and Lewis is barreling through them. The extra point is up, and good. So, at the 10:52 mark in the 3rd quarter, we were talking about momentum, and had the question was, did Mill Creek lose the momentum after a kind of weird and weak last 2 minutes of the 2nd quarter? Well, guess what? The momentum is back in favor of Mill Creek, if that's any indication. 24-10. And Mill Creek will now be kicking off to the Alpharetta Raiders.
And now how is Alpharetta going to respond? They've kind of basically been hit in the mouth by the Ja'Cory Lewis train, his 3rd touchdown of the evening on the first possession of the 2nd half. So how are they going to respond? They were down early 17-0, spotting Mill Creek the early double-digit advantage, able to keep it close until the half at 17-10, but now giving up another long touchdown drive. Again, it's going to come back down to Josh Dobbs and his wide receivers having to make a play and having to come from another double-digit deficit.
So Washington and Stratton are back to receive the kickoff. 24-10, 10:52 left here in the 3rd quarter, and that was a very impressive opening second half drive by the Mill Creek Hawks. And there's a kick that kind of a squibber that goes out of bounds, but was it touched?
Wow, that was a very gutsy play right there from Trey Whitaker. Once that ball goes 10 yards, that is a live ball, so he chose not to pick it up at the 12-yard line. And a Mill Creek defender, I'm not sure who it was coming down from the kickoff coverage, had a chance to recover it before it went out of bounds. So that could have been a disastrous decision by Mr. Whitaker.
Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what.
So it pays off with the penalty, making the spot at the 35-yard line, but not a gamble that I'd be very happy about if I was the head coach.
No, that could have been a game killer had it gone the other way. So Alpharetta has the ball, though, and from the 35-yard line, and Josh Dobbs is back in control. And let's see if he can bring the team back and get a score and cut this margin back to 7 points again. 1 man in the backfield with Dobbs. 3 men wide right, 1 left. And Dobbs takes it himself, faked it to making it, and went off a right tackle and picked up a few yards. So in the 2nd quarter, where they were starting to get some success, they were sending 3 wide receivers to the right, and Dobbs was rolling right, and that's when they seemed to have the most success offensively. The 1st quarter, they really did nothing, but they seemed to pick it up nicely, and that was one of the strategies that seemed to get them there in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That was one thing that helped Dobbs get back on track, and you like that as a quarterback, only having to read one side of the field, and the option of kind of extending the play, and his scrambling ability also helped him out.
2nd and 6, little screen pass to the right to Macon. And that's going to be, looks like it's good enough for a first down. Nice screen pass to Macon, and he got just enough to get the first down for Alpharetta.
And that's one of the great ways, along with the draw play, of kind of limiting that rush. You're inviting them in, you're inviting the defensive lineman in, thinking that they're going to get a sack, and then you dump it right out over the head and now make them chase. But good job of gang tackling that time with Mill Creek. There were blockers in front, but just limiting the gain to the 8 or 9 yard, but they do pick up a fresh set of downs.
So move the chains, and Alpharetta keeps going. Again in the eye, or rather in the shotgun, is Dobbs. And looks like he may be calling off a play for another one. Let's see what happens. He's got time. He's looking deep. And he's got a man deep, and the ball is dropped and incomplete.
That time he was looking for Rodney Morris, just skipped it about 20 yards down the field. So he had, as you mentioned, great protection that time, let the route develop, went for the deeper pass instead of the short one, just came up just a little bit short. Great effort that time by Rodney Morris making the diving attempt, but now going to bring up 2nd and long.
All right, 2nd and 10 from the 45-yard line. Important series for Alpharetta. They need to get on the board again. And he's scrambling. Dobbs is scrambling, and he's scrambling, and he's scrambling, and he's still going. So this is becoming the Josh Dobbs show here in the early goings of the second half. Everybody was covered, and he saw a space, and he took it. And he takes the ball all the way down to the 37-yard line of Mill Creek.
And again, just great job of that scrambling ability that Dobbs possesses. He was no slouch with running it as well during the season. And again, just good blocking, but again, decent coverage on the outside.
Quick pass out to the flat, and that's good for another 6-7 yards. Being knocked out of bounds, I believe, is Macon. And again, we'll see where it's spotted.
But this is the kind of response that Alpharetta needed after going down again by double digits. They had to have a play, and that's what your playmakers are doing. That's what Josh Dobbs is taking it on himself, giving it out to Macon once in a while, but you don't want to become too one-dimensional. You still need to kind of hand it off just to keep the defense honest.
2nd and 2, and this time the handoff goes to Macon right up the gut, and let's see whether he got enough for the first down.
Looks like it's going to be short by about another yard, but again, even if you're not getting gashing holes like you're seeing from the Mill Creek side, you still have to do it just to kind of keep them honest, saying, hey, even though we like to pass it around, we're not afraid to try to run it up again, but pay attention now for this quarterback draw.
Yep, we've got a 3rd and 2. No one in the backfield except for Dobbs, and the blitz is on, and he gets the pass off, and I'll tell you what, they were coming after him, and he got the pass off just in time and got the first down. They had no one in the backfield with Dobbs. He had everyone outflanked left and right. And Mill Creek decided they were going to go after Dobbs, and they got there just a tad too late.
I believe that was Chris DeCute who had an interception earlier with basically the free shot on Dobbs, just about a half second too late. And you love what Dobbs did. He stuck into the pocket, knew he was going to get hit, but knew the importance of getting that first down.
Ball on the 26-yard line, and a handoff goes to Macon, and folks, he's going nowhere. In fact, he's thrown back. We'll see what they spotted, but there was absolutely no hole there at all.
And Kelsey Griffin straight up the middle, the big defensive tackle, doing his job, coming off that double team. Again, they had 5 blockers on the offensive line. Mill Creek's only playing a 3-4, but just a great job that time by Kelsey Griffin, splitting the A-gap and tackling Macon for a little loss. They'll give about loss of a half a yard.
So we have 7:32 left here in the third quarter. 24-10, a critical drive right now for Alpharetta. They need to go in for some kind of score to keep that momentum back on their end. And Dobbs goes back to pass. Has a man free, and it is dropped. Tell you what, he had his man beat, even though he had 2 or 3 guys around him, but the ball just went a little bit high, and so it sets up a 3rd and 10.
And DeCute came in again with the big hit on the wide receiver to knock the ball loose. So it's kind of throwing it into traffic there. Dobbs taking his chance. But now at 3rd and long, you're wondering if this is 4-down territory. If you're telling your offensive coordinator, you really have 2 plays now to pick up this 11 yards.
Yeah, that pass was intended for Clemens, his big play guy, and so far he hasn't connected with him. But, okay, Dobbs is now going to try to scramble and make it. And he is going to get close. I'm not sure he made it, but he's going to be close.
Looks like they are going to make it, mark it just about a half yard or a yard short. So decision time upcoming. Are you going to go for it again? And no hesitation whatsoever. Offense is staying out on the field. They do know the importance of this drive, and a field goal right now, they're not going to be able to come back with just field goals.
Yeah, so we got a 4th and 1 at the 17. And Dobbs in the backfield with our 2 running backs next to him.
And for some reason, the clock has not, or has stopped, and it should have been moving the entire time. I think that's what the head coach from Mill Creek is going to call the official over is, hey, he stayed in bounds. It wasn't a first down. He was clearly short. Why isn't the clock moving? And they're pointing over in that direction right now to try to get that situation fixed.
So they originally had it set at 4th and 1, and now they've set it at 4th and 2. But regardless, they're going for it. And while they're trying to work on the clock.
So it did read 7:14, and now they're mentioning up we don't have the official mic to hear what he's officially saying, but I imagine they're trying to run the clock down a little bit more, and it was at 7:14.
Well, while they're figuring that out, we'll tell you that for all the best coverage of Georgia football throughout the playoffs, go to WSBTV.com. So whether it's 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, it really doesn't matter. The Alpharetta Raiders have made the decision. They are going to go for it. And again, just as a quick reminder, when Mill Creek got the ball the first time, they just went down the field and scored, pretty easily. It was 17-10 when the half began. They made it 24-10 in very quick order. And the Alpharetta Raiders have made the decision that they are going to attempt to do the same thing and get a score and again take that margin down to 7 points. So here we go. 6:57 left in the third quarter. 4th and 2. Dobbs in a backfield all by himself.
I think you have to do some type of run-pass option, maybe another rollout to his right that seems most comfortable to be able to run it for the first down or make a short throw to pick it up.
And he's got 3 wide receivers to the right. And a pass over the middle, and touchdown. We had to wait and see, but a post pattern pays off for the Alpharetta Raiders. And we've got a ball game here. It's 24-16. And I'll tell you what, that was a heck of a call because they needed 2. And they threw to some congestion. And Dobbs made the pass, made it work. And again, with the extra points, it will be down to a 7-point margin.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Great play call, going with the slant to the big body Daniel Clements. Hadn't heard his name so far in this contest, but shows up big with that one and has the 17-yard receiving touchdown.
High snap, but the kick is still good. So, 24-17. So, if you remember when Johnny and I first started out the broadcast, we said this game is going to be a game of a lot of scoring. Well, at the end of the first quarter, there was no scoring. But here we are, 6 minutes and 35 seconds left in the third quarter, and all of a sudden the scores are starting to be run up, and we have a 24-17 ball game with Alpharetta kicking off now to the Mill Creek Hawks.
Yeah, it just took a couple of drives for these offenses to settle in. Looked like they were a little bit tentative kind of with their first couple of drives and possessions, but now in the last, basically the second quarter and on, it has been what we expected, all about the offense. So I think now it is going to come down to kind of who can make another defensive stand and which quarterback is going to throw an untimely interception. And looks like the offenses are now definitely rolling. Absolutely.
Felton and Cheeks are back to receive the kick. And Alpharetta has got to figure out a way to stop this running attack for Mill Creek. They really have not had a lot of success with it, but if they're going to do it, now's the time to do it. And here's the kickoff. And it's taken at the 10-yard line, and up the middle comes the runner, and he has some space, and he takes the ball up to the 45-yard line. Does Devonza Felton, I believe.
Yeah, that was Felton, and he showed a lot of speed, and there has been a lot of big holes in this Alpharetta kickoff game. Mill Creek has been able to get very good field position out of all these kickoffs, and without a couple of missed tackles, Felton can break one, and that could be the big play that Mill Creek needs.
So on the 45-yard line, great position, and the handoff. It's a fake handoff to Lewis, and David takes it, and he's going down the right sideline and knocked out of bounds at the 27-yard line. So there's the problem. The problem is right now Alpharetta is just so totally focused on Lewis. It is giving David all kinds of flexibility to do a bunch of different things in the backfield.
Yeah, and great ball movement so far from Daniel David. He just sticks it in the belly of Lewis, but able to pull it out just at the last second, reading that right defensive end. If he crashes in, he keeps it himself. If he plays the quarterback, he'll give it off to Lewis. And right now, you just can't stop both players as we get kind of offsides penalty. It looks like we're going to get encroachment, so another 5 free yards on the hard count, done by perfection by Daniel David. So right now, start of the second half, everything with that running game is working for Mill Creek.
So this is becoming a battle of like two championship heavyweights, and they're just slugging it out, but someone's going to have to give. And Alpharetta has to find a way to slow down the offense of Mill Creek. And let's see if they can put a stop on them right now. And the handoff goes to our man Lewis, and he goes off tackle. They needed 5. It was 1st and 5 because of the penalty, and we'll see if he got it or not. Looks like he came up a little bit short, so they're calling a 3rd and 2. 5:53 to go here in the third quarter. Mill Creek threatening again. And the handoff goes to Lewis, and he's going to get it and more.
Did you see how far the referee threw his yellow flag? Looks like he had about a 15-yard throw. It's going to be holding on Mill Creek, so the referee has a bit of an arm on him. So that play is going to negate the first down. But again, just good blocking so far up for this Mill Creek offensive line. Can't say enough about how they've done so far. That time they just got caught. It's going to cost them 10 yards.
And that's a big play because they had a first down certainly well within the red zone. And now they're faced with a situation which would take them back and appear to put them into more of a passing situation as they are down. The ball's being spotted at the 28. 27.
So one of the few times now that Mill Creek has been kind of behind the chains, now a 2nd and long. So this is the chance for Alpharetta. Do you start coming up with a run blitz right here or just continue to play back?
And they give it to Lewis, and Lewis bounces off of one guy, two guy, and then finally gets knocked down.
And they did bring one linebacker, did Alpharetta, on a little bit of a run blitz, but Lewis again just runs through the arm tackles. You have to wrap up on this guy. He is not going to be taken down by the first man to get in there to get the penetration, and now I think you have to start doing some run blitzes.
3rd and 8, and the handoff goes to Lewis around the right side. No, that's not Lewis. That's Felton.
So that's their tag team of running backs.
Yeah.
They put a Lewis straight up the middle and off tackle a little bit. Then have the kind of jet sweep outside runner in Felton with the speed guy, and again picks up another first down. So they're just hitting on all cylinders right now with this run game.
Yeah, Felton seems to be the guy when they want to go wide right or left. He has the speed, and he's been very effective so far tonight. So 1st and 5 on the 5. And there goes Felton around the left side this time, and this time he is not going anywhere. He got knocked down to the 10-yard line. So that's one of the best defensive stops we've seen the Alpharetta Raiders put on the Mill Creek Hawks all night.
Yeah, very nice job by that time reading the play, and they actually had both in the backfield. They had Lewis and Felton in the backfield, so they had the two options. And now are you going to try to get creative and have another pass, try to throw it in, or are you just going to keep pounding it away?
Yeah, they're at 2nd down, and let's see what happens. Back to pass goes David. He's got a man open, and it is caught and dropped.
That time looking for Matthew Purcell, who had a couple of nice catches earlier in the first half. Had to go up high for that one, just unable to bring it in. And again, with the play action fake, just drawing these linebackers in. All 4 of them were taking a step and a half early up to the line of scrimmage. So now bring up a 3rd and long, or third and goal really from the 7-yard line. This is the best chance now for Alpharetta. Crowd getting involved now, standing on their feet. They need their defense to make a play.
Okay, 3rd and 7. 2 men in the backfield along with David. Let's see what the call is. David's back to pass. And a quick pass out to Felton. And he is going to be stopped. So he is stopped at the 4-yard line. It's 4th and 4 at the 4. So decision time, and I think they've already made up their mind. They're going for the field goal.
Yeah, I think you saw with that call, with the decision being already made, hey, we're not going to try to force it. We're going to give David a nice, easy throw. Great tackle again by Trey Whitaker, who's been everywhere on this field for this Alpharetta defense, making the sure tackle, holding them to a field goal attempt. But again, any type of points that you're giving up now is crucial. Now looking to put it up to another double-digit lead. But from the right hash, this is a kind of an awkward angle for the kicker.
Ball down, kick is blocked.
And that is a live ball.
And it's a live ball and picked up by Alpharetta. It's a race, and guess what? No one's going to catch him. Going all the way for a touchdown is Alpharetta. And we're trying to get the number on that, but what a turn of events.
It was number 2. Not sure if we have him here on the roster.
What a turn of events.
Looks like that was Eric Ritlin, the junior, 6'1", 160. I'm not sure who got the hand on it to block it, but that's going to be about a 95 blocked kick return for the touchdown, and that's exactly what Alpharetta needed. I don't see any flags on the field, so that is going to stand. We just saw the touchdown from the umpire, so that was a huge play in this contest. Now Alpharetta can tie it up.
He blocks the kick, and he had an escort of 6 or 7 other Alpharetta Raiders with him. There were no Mill Creek Hawks anywhere in sight. He could have walked that thing in. So it's not a normal way to score points, but nevertheless, they will take it. And with the extra point, we have a tie ball game. And the kick is up and good. You know, with a field goal, Johnny, had Mill Creek made it, it would have become a 2-possession game because it would have ended up being 27-17. But as a result of the block kick and the touchdown as a result of the block kick, going from a 2-possession game, we're now down to a dead even game with 3:34 left in the third quarter.
And it's great, I guess you have to say great play design on the block kick. I mean, they rushed from the left-hand side. Like I had said, it was from an odd angle right on the right hash, so he had to kick it basically straight to the left. So that's where Alpharetta put all their rushers. Somebody got in to knock it down, and as you said, the easy 95 yards, the most green he's going to see all evening by Eric Ritlin, just walks it in for the touchdown, and now we have a brand new ball game all tied up 24.
We do. And for live scoring and highlights of all games Play On Sports is covering, go to www.playonsports.com/football playoffs. And folks, it doesn't get any more exciting than this. It is 24-24, 3:34 left here in the third quarter. And what started rather slow in this game at 0-0 at the end of the first quarter, both teams have turned it on, and we're going to have one fine finish before this thing is over.
So we kept saying that each team averaged over 30 points apiece, and like you said, the first quarter started out really slow, not getting a whole lot to reach that, pouring it on here in the second half, and now, like you said, it's a heavyweight fight. Who's going to blink first?
And a little pooch kick down to the 25-yard line, and taking the ball back, and boy, he almost broke it. He almost broke it. I believe that was Felton, but regardless, that puts Mill Creek in great field position. I'm not really sure why they did the pooch kick, but the end result is that Mill Creek Hawks have the ball on their own 46-yard line. Great field position.
Well, the problem is that they have no kick coverage, basically. Even when they kick it deep, pinning them at the 5 or the 10, they have a nice 20, 25-yard run back. But again, you're giving the ball to Mill Creek at the 45-yard line.
The handoff goes to Lewis, and folks, there's another big hole. And he keeps going, drags a couple of players with him, and down to the 28-yard line.
And that time going for the ride was Chase Stratton for Alpharetta for another 6-7 yards down the field. And these holes are just huge right now. But are they saying that there's a flag? Everyone's kind of walking backwards. I don't actually see one that was thrown.
Yeah, I don't see one either here, but they are taking it back.
It looks like there is one on the far sideline. And it looks like it's going to be right at midfield at a holding call.
Whoa.
And that is just terrible news for Mill Creek. Another gaping hold, this time running to the left, but it's going to be all for naught. And now this defense for Alpharetta starting to see that momentum go back onto their side. They're getting that confidence of, well, if we can't tackle them, at least let's get a holding call against us, which is good enough.
So back on their 42-yard line after a tremendous run by Ja'Cory Lewis. And let's see what the first play is. And it's Mr. Lewis again, and up the middle he goes.
He just basically is doing what he wants right now. If he said, all right, you're going to take a 20-yard run for me the previous play, I'm just going to do it again. This time now to the right side, that time following Jacob Lee and Michael Cheeks again. So, I mean, just great blocking from this entire offensive line for Mill Creek.
So they keep going. And as you said earlier, beginning part of the game, Johnny, Lewis seems to be the kind of guy that gets stronger as the game goes on.
And that's what you want to see out of those great running backs. They like to wear down those defenders. So third, fourth quarter comes, they're still full health.
This time Lewis is off to the left, and once again a big hole. And he could go all the way. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Mr. Ja'Cory Lewis. Alpharetta has no answer to this guy. There is no answer whether he goes left, right, up the middle. They can't stop him, at least not yet.
And that's going to be his fourth rushing touchdown of the evening, his second one of over 40 yards. So he has to be approaching, I would think, 150 yards for the entire game so far, and we're not even done with the third quarter.
30-24, and I want to tell you something. There was a big hole, but Lewis had to still knock over a few ball plays on the way, and to try to one guy trying to tackle Ja'Cory Lewis, folks, it's not going to happen. And the kick is up and good. 31-24. And Ja'Cory Lewis is one impressive running back, I got to tell you. He is living up to the billing, Johnny. He really is.
Yeah, he has been as good as advertised again, but just great blocking by this offensive line. Open up the huge holes. He is being able to make guys miss and drag them break some of the tackles. But, I mean, the holes have to be there to start with. And these offensive linemen have been doing a wonderful job this evening. And I kind of feel sorry for now these Alpharetta defenders. I mean, you're having Lewis come straight at you downhill. And he's basically running with a lot of anger right now, which is what you see the Adrian Peterson coming at you.
Yeah.
He wants to make the contact with you as an offensive player. And those are the players that you love. And just having a wonderful night so far, just in the third quarter, and he already has 4 rushing touchdowns.
Exactly. Well, let's see how Alpharetta responds to that, because now once again they're down by a touchdown, and let's see if they have an answer.
And again, setting up for the kind of a pooch kick, this time by Mill Creek.
And that's, I believe, Washington at the 20, and let's see, he's dancing, and he's still on his feet and doing some more dancing. We thought he was trapped down by the 20-yard line, and he brought the ball back over the 40.
Another great return, breaking tackles himself. And looks like he was going to get cut down at the 20-yard line, but put his hand down to gain his balance again. Picks up another 20 yards, and now this is going to be the best field position so far for Alpharetta. But again, you can't keep trading scores with these guys, which is basically what's going to be happening now for the rest of the game. You spotted them 17 points. You're able to come back valiantly. You have to keep doing it again. Both defenses, after that first quarter, are basically getting shredded.
31-24, 2:22 on the clock here in the third quarter. And the question here is, does Justin Dobbs have an answer? Back to pass, and he is in trouble. He gets it off. So he's saved being sacked.
Yeah, he pulled his own Houdini act trying to get out of that sack. Gets it off, and it looks like I think he passed it out to Macon. So they end up losing a couple yards, but could have been a lot worse.
That is correct. It's being spotted, so it's a 2nd and 11. But, Johnny, as you said, it could have been a lot worse. There just was nobody open, and Dobbs had to do something with the ball. Back to pass again. Uh-oh, he's not getting away this time. He is in big trouble. They brought 2 or 3 extra linemen in, and this time Josh Dobbs was just not going anywhere. And this really now sets up a very difficult situation because it's now looking at third and probably over 20 yards to go. And do they want to give the ball back to Mill Creek and that offensive juggernaut that they have? So let's see what happens.
Michael Leonard came from his outside linebacker spot basically unblocked, taking down Dobbs and now bringing up 3rd and 26. So you want to pick up the first down. Probably not going to happen, so you have to do kind of a safe play call. Just don't turn it over right now.
3 men rushing, and they still went after Dobbs. The pass is incompleted. Mill Creek only had 3 men on the line, and somehow they got through, although I think they may have been trying to set up a screen pass, but the screen pass was unsuccessful.
So like I said, going with a safe play call with the screen pass, inviting all the defensive linemen to come in as they're rushing Dobbs and getting a lot of pressure, but just unable to complete the screen pass. And now Mill Creek should get the ball close to the 50-yard line. And again, haven't been stopped so far in the second half. I don't know what else for Alpharetta to do defensively.
Evan Trout kicking the ball away. And it's going to James at the 50-yard line. He'll take it back to about the 38. But there's a flag down on the field, which usually means it's going to be coming back a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be a block in the back. So great field position, again, is going to be negated. So Mill Creek has had a little bit of trouble on their kick coverage and their kick returns with a couple of penalties, taking away great field position. But again, they're just giving more yards right now basically for Ja'Cory Lewis to gain himself.
That is correct. And the last thing Alpharetta wants to do is give the ball back to Mill Creek and let Ja'Cory Lewis get his hands on the ball and chew up the clock and yards. That's the last thing they want to do, but that's exactly what they've done as a result of the last possession that the Alpharetta Raiders had on offense. So we've got 45 seconds left here in the third quarter, 31-24. And the Mill Creek Hawks have the ball at the 50-yard line, it looks like. If I'm Mill Creek, I just keep going where it's working, and where it's working is giving the ball to Ja'Cory Lewis up the middle and occasionally giving it to Felton around the right or left. And there goes Mr. Lewis following his line. And his offensive line just pushed back on the Alpharetta defense and created a 6 or 7 yard gain.
I mean, it's nothing new, really. And I would think that Alpharetta they're playing that 3-4 system with their 4 linebackers, but all 4 of them are standing 5-6 yards deep. And with that offensive line being able to get to that second level and being able to block the linebackers, they're not really coming up to force anything different. So they're just going to continue to hand it off.
Well, they faked to Lewis, and this time David kept the ball, and he went out of bounds at the 30-yard line. That's the end of the third quarter. But like we were talking, so like we were talking before, Lewis, because he's such a threat, causes all kinds of problems for the defense, and actually they're keeping some time on the clock.
He did. Dan David actually did get out of bounds, and it was a first down, so they'll move the chains at the spot of the play now.
Okay. And let's see what happens. Is Lewis, I think, up the middle to the right, and that should do it for the third quarter. So here's the situation. It's 31-24. That's the end of the third quarter. 31-24. Mill Creek has the ball, and they are driving. This is the second possession they've had in the second half. The first possession they had, they just ran right through the Alpharetta defense and scored very quickly. Alpharetta got the ball back and could do nothing with it, and the last thing they wanted to do was give the ball back to Mill Creek, and they had to. Mill Creek has the ball, and they're driving again, Johnny.
Yeah, and again, it's just basically been the Ja'Cory Lewis show. He has 2 rushing touchdowns in this half to go with the 2 in the first half. Up to 4 for the game. Has to be approaching 175, close to maybe 200 yards. And again, Alpharetta just has to come up with some way to stop this defense, and they're taking so much time off the clock with that running game that Josh Dobbs is spending too much time on the sideline.
So that's the end of the third quarter, and join the conversation about high school sports. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Play On Sports, #GHSA Football. So third quarter's over, and we've got one quarter left here in this first round playoff game, 31-24. So all the questions about scoring, well, that's off the table now because it appears, well, first of all, Mill Creek has made the 30-point mark, and we'd be very surprised if Alpharetta doesn't. But nevertheless, the bigger question right now is whether Alpharetta can stop Mill Creek from scoring, because if they can't, we're back to a two-possession game in favor of the Mill Creek Hawks.
And there's not enough time left to keep trading scores, so even a field goal would, like you said, be a win for this Mill Creek squad. They have to shut them out for Alpharetta, make probably 2 more stops, or at least 3, probably 3 more. They probably go for it on if it's a 4th and short.
2nd and 6 on the 27, and the whistle blows before they get anything going. The handoff was to guess who, Ja'Cory Lewis, but let's see what the flag is all about.
Usually probably going to be a false start, or they're actually going to call offsides, encroachment on Alpharetta, and that was a big penalty either way. If it was going to be against Mill Creek, it would have pushed them back to 2nd and 11, but another free 5 yards, and that could be a huge mistake.
Oh, that has to hurt. That has to hurt, because now you're facing you're in a 2nd and 1 on the 22-yard line of Alpharetta, and you've got Ja'Cory Lewis in the backfield, and it's a fake to Lewis, and David keeps the ball running to the right, and he has some daylight, and out of bounds he goes. So what's happening here is Mill Creek is using Lewis either to pound holes up the middle or as a decoy, and David is a very, very, very good ball handler, faking to Lewis, and then running the ball on his own for some significant yards.
Mill Creek came in averaging 295 rushing yards per game, and I'm sure they're probably over that and more now. So this game has turned into exactly the kind of game that they want, the high scoring, but also Ja'Cory Lewis leading the way.
At the 18-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Mill Creek Hawks. They've got 2 receivers wide left, 2 wide right. David in the backfield along with Ja'Cory Lewis. And the handoff goes to Lewis, and Lewis is going to be on his way for yet another touchdown. So that would probably be, number 5, Johnny, for Lewis?
That is his 5th rushing touchdown, just starting the 4th quarter, and it's just amazing. They had 2 of their offensive linemen opening up another huge hole that they've done the entire game, running now to that left side with their 2 pulling offensive linemen, and that's just very difficult to stop. Both players coming downhill at you with another running back that, again, is running angry and wants to hit somebody. Broken arm tackles is not going to get it done. Another touchdown.
And the kick is up and good. So that touchdown run by Lewis, his 5th of the night, was from 18 yards out. And it's somewhat baffling because really, from a defensive standpoint, Alpharetta now has to be expecting Lewis to get the ball the majority of times. And even with that expectation, they have not figured it out. I mean, they have tried 3 on the line, 4 on the line. They tried to blitz, and they just do not have an answer for Ja'Cory Lewis.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, Daniel David came out throwing earlier in the first quarter, a little bit into the second, but pretty much everything after that, it's been the Ja'Cory Lewis show, and it's either Lewis left, Lewis right, Lewis up the middle. Occasionally they'll give a carry to Felton around the outside, but again, Daniel David can kind of keep it himself, so you can't go full-fledged out with just Lewis, because then David could beat you, and basically the offense has just been 1 step or maybe even 2 steps ahead of this defense for Alpharetta.
Well, there's 11:43 left in the ball game, and this now becomes a very pivotal set of downs for the Alpharetta Raiders. They have to score, and they have to score fairly quickly because there's a 2-possession game, and they have to have an answer, and then once they score, they have to figure out an answer how to stop Mill Creek and Ja'Cory Lewis because, again, time is no longer on their side.
They need a good return on this one as well. Avoid a penalty. Just keep the ball. Get as much as you can, but don't avoid a mistake.
All right, there's a kickoff, and coming around the right-hand side and out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. So that's where Whitaker on the return, and that's where Josh Dobbs and company will take over at the 31-yard line. 11:35 to go, 38-24. And a task ahead of Josh Dobbs and the offense for the Alpharetta Raiders, no doubt. They can do it, but they need to do it, score a touchdown, and do it fairly quickly, shut down Mill Creek and get their hands on the ball again.
You have to have better protection for Dobbs is what I'll be looking at here. And then surprisingly, they do a run.
Well, they want to keep him honest, I guess. So Macon gets the ball, goes off left tackle. So probably pick up about 4 or 5 yards. But that's not going to be the answer in terms of winning this ball game.
Mill Creek will take that all quarter long, 6, 7, 8 yards to go up valuable clock.
4 men out. A pass is almost picked off. It was overthrown a little bit by Dobbs and in and out of the hands of the defender for Mill Creek. And folks, if that ball had gone into Mill Creek's defensive hands, there was only daylight ahead of him, and that was an easy touchdown.
Almost intercepted by Brandon Holly, the outside linebacker for Mill Creek, and Dobbs throwing it into double coverage. Now bringing up 3rd and 3, a big third down if they have any chance of coming back in this one.
A lot of critical third downs in this fourth quarter, and this is certainly one for sure. Quick pass up the middle, slant pass, which is complete for the first down. So the slant pass offense, which Dobbs deployed throughout the season, he hasn't used a lot of it tonight, but when he has, it's been successful.
Yeah, going back to Daniel Clements, who caught the touchdown earlier in this half to get Alpharetta back into the contest. That's only, I believe, his 2nd reception, so need to get your big play wide receivers more involved.
From the 48-yard line, Dobbs goes back to pass, and he's going to have to take off and run with it, and that he does. Down to about the 44-yard line. So Dobbs has not had a lot of time when he's gone back there, and but because he is quick on his feet, he's been able to make some good runs out of it. But ideally, he'd like to have more time to get some passes out to his receivers in, as you say, Clements and some of his other folks.
And they're just using a 3-man rush, too, for Mill Creek, so they're able to drop 8, which just play a numbers game. If you're having even 4 wide receivers out there against 8 defensive players, defense is going to win that pretty much every time, and they've done a very good job of limiting the big plays. Haven't had too many 40, 50-yard gains so far, so Mill Creek has made them earn every yard they've gotten.
Well, there's an injury down the field, so that stops the clock. Again, 10:32 left, 38-24. We're not sure exactly who is down, but both teams have gone to the sidelines, and hopefully it's just something minor. And let's see what happens here.
And again, just a perfect evening for Friday night football. You can't ask for anything better. I mean, picture perfect weather. Crowds for both of these teams coming out to support their teams. This is the first time they've played together or against each other in the playoffs. They're leaving it all out on the field right now, and both of these teams, you can tell, they don't want to go home. They want to play against that winner of the Lassiter-Brookwood game, and that would take place next week. Lassiter was ahead at halftime over Brookwood and with Eddie Prince. So it could be the Eddie Prince show going through the air for Lassiter against the Ja'Cory Lewis show here for Mill Creek, and what a matchup that would be.
Be a very interesting game. But this game isn't over yet either, and so 10:32 left, and the injured ball player for Mill Creek is number 23. We're looking for the...
Michael Leonard was the injured player for Mill Creek, so he's going to walk off to the sideline, get some more attention. Hopefully he will be able to return later.
And he's walking under his own power, so that's good. That's a good sign. We've got a 2nd and 2 on the 44-yard line. Josh Dobbs brings his team out in the shotgun. 2 wide left, 2 wide right, 1 man with Dobbs. That would be Macon. And a quick pass off to the right-hand side, and that's good for a first down. And are they going to call a penalty? Let's see. There was a little bit of roughness at the sideline, but I guess they're not going to call it. But
looks like Canoe James hit the wide receiver for Alpharetta a little bit late out of bounds, maybe a step out of bounds, but the referee kept his flag in his pocket. That was enough for the first down for Alpharetta, but clock's starting to run again, and you have to be scoring on every possession. You have to have that sense of urgency, which it looks like Dobbs does have, though.
10:15 to play. They're on the 33-yard line of Mill Creek. Dobbs rolling left. And he was rolling left. Wasn't really sure whether it was intended to be a run or a pass, but nevertheless, he did end up passing it and went for an incompletion.
And that was Brandon Holly again, the linebacker, who almost had an interception in Dobbs' face again. So they're being able to get this pressure with only Russian having to come after Dobbs with 3 or 4 men, able to drop everybody back in coverage, pretty much playing the blanket coverage idea, not letting anybody get behind him. It's worked pretty well. They've made Dobbs earn everything, make good decisions, which he has, just been a little off on his accuracy.
2nd and 10 from the 33. And Dobbs back to pass. They've got 4 rushing, and Dobbs is going to throw it out to the right flat, and that is a completed pass to Schonhammer, and that's his 2nd catch of the night, I believe. And it is not enough for a first down, I don't believe, so it's going to set up a 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1 at the 24-yard line. 9:39 left here in the game. And obviously Alpharetta needs a first down desperately. They've got 3 receivers out to the left, but we're in four down territory. There's no question about it at this stage of the game. And the handoff goes. No, Dobbs keeps the ball, and he will get the first down.
Great second effort. Looks like he was going to be stopped in the backfield by Mill Creek, able to make the first man miss, and then he is able to pick up the first down. And a very big player right now, so that'll move the chains. Give him another 4 set of downs. Now clock still rolling, 9:15 left. Still have to convert and put it in the end zone.
Yeah, they need a 20 or 30-yard pass, 20-yard pass right now to go in for a score, Johnny, so they can make the score, get the ball back to Mill Creek, and hopefully shut them down next time they have it. All right, back to pass. Rushes on, and oh boy, he's in trouble, and he's taken down at the 32-yard line.
Taken down very hard, and again, that was Kelsey Griffin from the defensive tackle, so coming straight up the middle, getting that push. And you're always told if you can keep contained with your defensive ends and get pressure through the middle, and this is just with 3 men for Mill Creek. I've been very impressed. Even though they've given up 24 points, their defense has played really well.
Griffin is their sack leader. He had 7 sacks during the course of the regular season, and he just had a big one just now. So back to pass again. 4-man rush, and here they come again. They're after him. But there's a man wide open, and that's Clemens, and he goes in for the score. Wow.
Yeah, that just looked like a busted coverage. Patrick Dyke on the covering on a running back, and you'll take that matchup all night long. I mean, Julian Macon able to get by Patrick Dyke. Dobbs threw it right on the money, able to avoid the rush, step up into the pocket. A huge touchdown, and still now plenty of time, 8:19 remaining. But now you have a problem. Ja'Cory Lewis is going to get the football.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, that had to be a busted play because Clemens was wide open. There were no Mill Creek defensive backs around him, and he literally could walk that ball in. So the extra point is good, and we have a 38-31 ball game with 8:19 left in the game. So all these points have come since the beginning of the second quarter, and they have come in bunches. So literally right now what's going on is seemingly every time each team gets the ball, they score. But if Alpharetta is going to have a chance to win this game, they're going to have to stop that and stop it now, Johnny.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and that starts with stopping Ja'Cory Lewis. They haven't been able to do that all night long. This guy gives defensive coordinators nightmares, and I can understand why by just watching this one game. He's definitely built up his highlight reel. And at what point do you kind of go for a surprise? Maybe not now, but if you're still trading punches, what time do you have to go for an onside kick? Probably not with 8 minutes left, but you can't keep trading touchdowns with these guys and try to come out victorious. They have to pull something out sooner or later. The defense has to step up. If you have to put 10 men in the box, they're probably not going to throw it, so you have to do something extreme at some point to stop this Mill Creek rushing offense.
Yeah, clearly Mill Creek has changed his strategy here in the second half. They've gone away from passing pretty much almost entirely and have gone strictly to the running game, which has gotten them to where they are this full season. So 38-31, here comes the kickoff, and let's see if Alpharetta has an answer to the offensive running game of Mill Creek. Here's the kickoff, takes them back to the 5-yard line. And down the right sideline he goes, and still on his feet.
Just again, just a great individual effort. Looked like he was going to be bottled up right at the 22-yard line. Makes it out to the sideline, and if he had one more cut in him, had the whole entire middle of the field and back to his left, coming around to the left side. And again, just good field position, which been another thing Mill Creek hasn't had to start inside their 20, I don't think, at all this entire game.
Yeah, that was Michael Cheeks, too, who had a very nice run back, taking it on the 5 and bringing it back to about the 32. So here we go. At the 33-yard line, 1st and 10 for Mill Creek, and let's see if Alpharetta has an answer.
And it looks like it's going to be illegal substitution for Alpharetta, something that you could not have on defense unless they were able to get a timeout on the field. I don't think they are, so another kind of middle mistake, giving up a free 5 yards for Mill Creek.
And at this juncture in the ball game, these mental mistakes can kill you. I mean, especially with the potent offenses that both of these teams possess, they cannot afford to give any kind of extra yardage. Just can't do it. So now it's a 1st and 5 for the Mill Creek Hawks. And they're at the 33-yard line. And it's our man, Ja'Cory Lewis, and right up the middle he goes.
And again, just making the first guy miss, making the second guy miss, and then dragging an extra 3 or 4 defenders with him. It's been the same story the entire night. And you think he'd be getting kind of tired, but he pops up and runs back to the huddle. He's ready to go again.
Well, it seems he's getting tired of the defense for Alpharetta. It's not Ja'Cory Lewis. And as I said, he's been getting stronger as the game goes on.
And again, you have to change something with your tactics defensively. I mean, they're just playing the same kind of 3-4 defense, now walking a couple linebackers out to the left.
And there goes Lewis again. This time he goes out to the left and gets it down to about the 46-yard line. So virtually the passing game has been abandoned, Johnny, here by Mill Creek in the second half. And I guess it's a good strategy. They don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're putting up results like this, just hand it off to Ja'Cory Lewis. And they basically did the pass to set up the run, and now it's just who's going to carry the ball. Is it going to be Ja'Cory Lewis, or are they going to hand it off to Felton? Is Daniel David going to keep it? I mean, and the clock with each of these handoffs continues to roll now at 7 minutes.
They've got 4 linemen up, does Alpharetta, and with a linebacker coming in blitzing, and up the middle. No, to the left goes Lewis, and he's down, and he straight arms his defender and takes the ball down to about the 12-yard line. So actually what happened was Alpharetta blitzed a couple of ball players, a couple of linebackers, and they had the answer, did Mill Creek, as Lewis broke off to the left for the big run.
And again, just a nice cut right at about the 35-yard line, able to pick up an extra 15, 20 yards on that. And that was Michael Downing that got on the wrong end of that stiff arm.
So that's 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line. And they stay on the ground, and it's Lewis again to the 10. So it appears now that there is really no secrets here in terms of what the game plan is for the Mill Creek Hawks. It's going to be run, 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 and they're basically challenging Alpharetta to stop them. I mean, that's really where it stands right now. They're saying, we're going to run, and let's see if you can stop us, because we don't think you can.
And I haven't seen any reason right now that Alpharetta has been able to stop it. They haven't done it all night. They need a turnover right now. And again, Lewis came in with 178 carries, so I'm sure he's up close to probably 20, 25. And again, he had 1,545 yards coming in. Should have close to, I would think, 200. And this juncture, 22 touchdowns. He has 5 in this game.
Easily. Okay, Lewis has the ball again. And he picks up 3 or 4 yards and then finally gets slammed to the ground, but not before he got to about the 8-yard line, I believe.
So 3rd and about 2.5 yards. This is probably the ball game right here.
Yeah.
If you don't stop them right now and give up another touchdown, going down by double digits again, very, very difficult to come back after that. If you are able to stop them, they would probably go for it. And then if you stop them, you're backed up at your 10-yard line. So
3rd and 2. And David keeps the ball, and this backfires on him. So this creates a very interesting situation. He faked to Lewis up the middle, and David rolled to the right, and this time Alpharetta had the answer. And he was thrown for loss. So now they're at the 10-yard line. And let's see what that does, because if they go for the field goal and they make it, it still is a 2-possession game with 5 minutes left in the game, and they are going for the field goal. I think that's the right move, Johnny.
I would agree with you, and Bryce Gross made the defensive play right there just to give his team a chance. Now, last time they lined up for a field goal, it was blocked. So Alpharetta has seen something and been able to go against a weakness of Mill Creek's kicking game. So this is a huge kick right here.
And the fumble. And they do not get the ball off. So there, guess what, folks? We've got a situation here where Alpharetta now has the ball, and it isn't a two-possession game. It's a one-possession game, and Alpharetta has the ball. So from the specialty field, clearly now what's happening is the Mill Creek Hawks have a problem because the last field goal attempt resulted in a touchdown, and this one, a fumble, and no score, and Alpharetta has the ball back.
Yeah, basically just a bobbled snap, and they don't even get it off. But again, coming from now the right side, it looked like that had a good chance of being blocked too if there was a accurate snap. So now with 4.5 remaining, you need to go a little more than 80 yards. This is what the opportunity is, all you were asking for if you're Josh Dobbs. Just give me a chance, put it onto my shoulders. This is exactly what he wanted. Now he just has to deliver.
1st and 10 from the 19. And they're coming after Dobbs, but he's got an answer. He escapes the blitz and runs down to the 31-yard line. You know, if the Mill Creek Hawks has an Achilles here, it may be their kicking game because I don't believe they had many field goals at all during the season. And while they have gotten ample opportunities for extra points because they always score touchdowns, the field goal portion of that offense has really not been very strong, and it's coming back to bite them here in this playoff game.
And they usually say you have to win 2 out of the 3 areas, offense, defense, and special teams. And right now, Mill Creek does not have that very good special teams. So if Alpharetta can come back, they have their chance.
And a pass over the middle goes incomplete. As had a post pattern there that was overthrown. So that sets up a 2nd and 10. 4:23 left, plenty of time for Josh Dobbs and company to bring the team down. They're down by a score, 38-31. But again, it's 2nd and 10 with plenty of time. I have to be careful about the play calling now because they can't afford to turn the ball back over to Mill Creek. They've got a score on this series. So let's see what the call is. 2nd and 10. Dobbs in the backfield all by himself. They've got 3 receivers flanked to the left and 1 to the right. Plenty of time for this one. And a long pass, and it was underthrown because had the ball been on target, I think it would have been Clemens who would have gotten the ball, and he would have gone all the way. Yeah, Clemens had his man beat by 2 or 3 steps. Unfortunately, the pass was thrown short, and Clemens never had a chance for it, but had the pass been true, Clemens would have taken the ball and gone into the end zone untouched.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was underthrown, and it was also late. The wide receiver had broken 2 steps previous, and luckily DeCoute couldn't pull in his 2nd interception of the game. 3rd
and 10, and the pass is caught at the 41-yard line, which should be enough for a first down.
And what a job by Dobbs, and that is going to pick up a huge first down of staying in the pocket. He had a huge hit put on him, but staying strong in that pocket. Moving out a little bit to his right, picking up the big first down, and they have to keep some momentum now. Still time, 4 minutes left, but even if you do score, how much time are you going to leave Mill Creek to come down for a score?
That's right. Dobbs back to pass, has time. Pass over the middle, or off the left flat, and it's caught for about a 4-yard gain, maybe 3-4 yard gain at the 45-yard line. So there's 3:50 left here in the 4th quarter. Alpharetta has the ball, and they are in control right now. Ideally, they'd like to take the ball down and score. Of course, the question would be, they want to score and not leave any time on the clock for Mill Creek, which would set up a tie ball game in overtime.
Overtime, that would be a nice, fun thing to have. Each team with 3 timeouts, though, so time not really a factor. But first things first, you do have to drive. Still 55 yards left for that tying score.
3:23, and Dobbs goes back to pass, and he's going to try to take it up the middle. Now he's running off to the right-hand side, and he passes complete to the 37-yard line to his man Clemens. So in the second half, Dobbs is finding his man Clemens, and this is the 3rd or 4th catch he's made here in the second half of the ball game.
Yeah, he has definitely showed up, and he even got 2 feet down on that catch. I mean, unbelievable awareness. Again, Dobbs running out to his right. That seems to be the direction he likes to go. Great awareness by Clemens, getting both feet in down for another first down. Great play.
Dobbs to Daniel Clemens. Okay. So let's see what the call is here. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line now of Mill Creek. 3:09 left in regulation. Pass out to the flat, and it's caught, but then driven out of bounds. So where they spot it's probably spotted around the 32, which would give them a 5-yard gain, I believe.
And that time catch made by Rodney Morris. So Dobbs is spreading it around now, which you like to see. Don't get locked on just to one wide receiver. Let a couple of guys make the big plays for you. So now edging all closer now for that tying score.
2:40 left. 38-31. Clemens back to pass. And thought about running up the middle. Now he's going to run off to the side. And shovel pass, which is going to be incomplete.
Yeah, you like the miraculous play if you're able to convert it, but a dangerous pass that time, basically the shovel pass. And Dobbs was very close to crossing the line of scrimmage, but if any part of your body is behind it when the pass is thrown or shoveled pass at that time, it will just be an incompletion, so he has to be worried about that. But now another huge 3rd and 6. And are we having another clock issue that they're trying to add some more time to it?
And John, this is typically the time when they do the slam pass over the middle, which is ideal to pick up 6 yards. Let's see if that's the call. 3rd and 6, 2:26 left. The Raiders down by a touchdown. But we are obviously in 4-down play right here, but they would like to get the first down on this play.
And they do add 2 seconds left, so 2:28 now remaining in the contest.
Here's the snap. And Dobbs rushed. And he makes the pass complete. And it's Clemens, and into the end zone he goes. So, it's a touchdown. And we are 1 point away from a tie ball game with 2:19 left. So, Dobbs to Clemens has seemed to be the connection that has made it work for the Alpharetta Raiders here in the second half. And so it's a good news, bad news scenario. The good news obviously is that they scored, but I would have to say that the bad news is that they scored leaving 2 minutes and 19 seconds left on the clock. So I think ideally they would have liked to run the clock down a little bit more, but that's not the case. They have the touchdown, and with an extra point, it's a tie game. I guess...
it looks like we do have a timeout taken, and now kind of a decision time that was taken by Alpharetta. So like you said, with 2:20 remaining, are you considering going for a 2-point conversion right here?
Boy, that's a pretty risky play when...
this is the playoffs. This is win or go home time.
Win or go home, so it's a question of do you go for the 2 or do you count on your defense to stop Mill Creek and take it into overtime?
Which they haven't all game long. So we'll say this. Let's say if you get the 2-point conversion, now 39-38, that forces a touchdown will beat you, but also a field goal would beat you. However, Mill Creek has shown that they're not very good, I would say, putting it kind of lightly, with their special teams. So then it kind of forces you to think, well, even if we get a field goal, we can try it, but we haven't been successful. So now does that force them to kind of go for it on maybe a 4th and 2 or something from the 25 to give you a chance to make the stop? And it looks like they will be going for the 2-point conversion.
Wow, this is the game here, folks, because 2:18 left, as Johnny so clearly pointed out. If they score the 2, that puts them up by a point, which means that a field goal won't do it. They'll have to go for a touchdown. If they don't get it, then we've got a whole different situation. So rolling to the right, and he's in trouble, but he finds a wide open receiver, and it's good. Wow. So Dobbs rolls to the right, takes the whole defense with him, and then throws cross body to the left and finds a wide open receiver. And folks, we've got a 39-38 game, and that is the first time that I believe the Raiders have been in the lead tonight.
I believe that is correct. So now 39-38 in the hole. Everybody moved to the right. Roll your quarterback to the right. Throw back to the left. Wide open receiver in the back of the end zone. So, I mean, what a gutsy play call, executed to perfection. Great call by the offensive coordinator, and we are up here in the Alpharetta booth, and they're just going crazy beside us. So what a great play call. What a great drive by Dobbs. 39-38. but now can your defense stop Mill Creek? And they have 3 timeouts. This isn't over yet.
Yep, no, definitely not. Great play call, great execution. You needed both, of course. So here's the situation. It's 39-38. The Raiders are up by 1 point. A field goal will be good enough, but if history is any indication, I don't think that the Mill Creek Hawks are going to be very comfortable or depend on a field goal. They are going to say, if we're going to win this game, we're going to have to take it all the way in. So they'll have 2:19 to do that. However, they are going to be depending upon their running game, which, as you know, has been very effective but does chew up the clock. So this creates a very, very interesting scenario here for the final 2 minutes and 19 seconds of this playoff game. And here comes the kickoff. Felton and Cheeks back, and it's Cheeks at the 2-yard line. And he is nailed at the 15-yard line. So we'll have to, it appears that if Mill Creek is going to win this ball game, they're going to have to go 85 yards for the score. There's 2:13 left. As Johnny, you said, they have 3 timeouts, and they have 1 explosive runner in Ja'Cory Lewis. So are they going to put this all on Ja'Cory Lewis's back and see what he can do? We're going to find out.
Well, you also have Daniel David, great in the first quarter and a couple minutes in. But again, like you said, they've abandoned that passing game. He's shown that he can do it. But do you put it on your sophomore, or do you just hand it off again to Lewis? But like you said, that takes up time off the clock.
1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Lewis is the only one in the backfield with David. And David goes for a pass, and the first one's incomplete. So they tried a quick pass out to Felton on the left, and Felton is the other running back who's really quick. So if you get the ball out to him, he can do some dancing and perhaps, create something for them. But the pass was not there, and even if it had been caught, he was surrounded by a couple of Alpharetta Raider defenses. So 2nd and 10, 2:09 left. Not much time taken off the clock, but nevertheless, the Mill Creek Hawks have to do something on this drive. There will be no other drives if they don't score here. And David goes back to pass. And he has a man, and he dropped it. It was a completed pass. It was a fine pass. Kyle Nichols was the receiver. He had the ball caught at the 20-yard line, went in and out of his hands.
Oh, he was just trying to turn to get extra yardage before he had the ball. You could see his head kind of turn to see where the defensive player was if he was going to get hit. It's always tough to go over the middle. And a huge now 3rd down play coming up. You don't have to get it all on this 3rd down because you're obviously going to go for it on 4th, but you still need some positive 5 or 6 yards. So maybe you go back to that screen game that got you down there early in the 2nd quarter.
Back to pass. And it's picked off. And it's picked off by Alpharetta, and it's a touchdown.
It was actually going to be dropped. Devin Isaac was the defensive lineman that got his hand on the ball. He wasn't able to come up with the interception, or it would have been an easy walk-in touchdown, as you said.
Ooh.
But nonetheless, he was able to get his big paw up there and knock it down. So now 4th and 10. So here's your ball game.
Yeah, it looked like he had it, but then dropped it. So wow, 1:56 to go, and a 1-point margin, and this is it. This is the play. This is the game for Mill Creek. And let's see, the play is stopped.
We're going to have a timeout for Alpharetta, so they have now taken their 2nd timeout.
It's 39, Johnny, it's 39-38. They had the ball on the 15-yard line with 2:30 left. The whole second half, they've been handing off to Lewis, who has been gaining 15, 20, 25 yards, and that's what's given them all the scores in the second half. So why they abandoned that in the most critical series is really hard to figure.
Well, it's tough. You only have a little over 2 minutes remaining. You have, as you mentioned, Lewis, who's getting 15, 20 yards a pop, but I'm sure the Alpharetta defense was kind of expecting that. You turn it over to your sophomore quarterback, Daniel David, who hasn't really basically thrown a pass in over 2 quarters. So they kind of did the risk-reward of passing it versus running the clock with Lewis. So I'm kind of surprised, as you are, that they didn't at least try it maybe on the 1st down play, because they're only rushing 3, usually 4 Alpharetta. They were kind of playing the run, and it was a tough situation to be put in, and they need one play for 10 yards.
Well, let's see if they can do it. 1:55 left, and a pass down the sideline. It is caught or not? Let's see. It looks like it was caught.
Wow, just what a catch on the right sideline,
Yep.
and what a throw. Put it only where his wide receiver was going to be able to come up and make the catch, and that was Michael Cheeks at the 39-yard line. A huge pass reception, so now 1:47 remaining. There's still life for this Mill Creek team.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that was it. That pass is incomplete. This ball game is over. And now they hand off to Lewis, and now Lewis goes up the right side, and he bangs his way through to the 47-yard line.
So we mentioned he was averaging 8 yards a run coming in. That number's probably going to go up after this. And again, a huge 12-yard run going to that right side, which has been their bread and butter the entire game. So now 140 and running, but Mill Creek still driving.
And now they're giving it to Lewis, and now they're going to see if Lewis can take him in. Because, again, this is a running offense. This is not a passing offense. But, again, the clock now is against them. And unless Lewis breaks one, they're going to have some difficult decisions to make. 1:20 left, 2nd and 6. They are on the 43-yard line of Alpharetta. And they give it fake to Lewis. And David is going to be trapped in the backfield, but flags it down. And it might have been, well, let's see what it is.
I think it's going to be coming back. It looks like there was a hold, I think, going to be on Kim Caleb. And then David is going to go down. I think they're either going to call a holding or a block in the back, potentially on Mill Creek.
Or maybe a horse collar.
Wow.
Face mask.
It's going to go the other way. So instead of a holding call on the offensive lineman, we're going to get a 15-yard face mask coming against Alpharetta. And that is a huge change of field position, change of everything, and that should now give them a first down.
Well, I think it's an automatic first down, I believe, the face mask. So we now have 1 minute and 8 seconds left in the game. And I'll tell you what, Mill Creek is not out of this game by any stretch of imagination. They were facing a 4th and 10 30 seconds ago and made a clutch pass. And there goes Lewis off the right side, and it is taking 3 or 4 players to take him down.
I mean, every time it's nothing fancy. I mean, just off that right side, maybe pulling one offensive lineman, but other than that, just a straight smash mouth football. I'm coming right at you. But again, they've had some field goal issues, so it's kind of almost like you have to score a touchdown even though you're only down a point, 50 seconds with the clock running.
Yeah, and so the handoff goes to Felton, I believe, on the right-hand side, down to the 20-yard line, but there's less than 40 seconds left. I think they have one timeout left, and they just called it.
They actually have 3, so
okay.
just called their first.
Okay,
the Raiders only have one timeout.
All right.
But again, just kind of power football, and that's I'm giving it out to Felton.
Well, Johnny, this is going down to the wire.
This has been a great game.
39-38. They, as Johnny pointed out, Mill Creek has 2 timeouts left. So here's the situation: 39-38. They are driving. They're down on the 27-yard line. They are driving now because they're depending on the run. The run is getting them. That's gotten them to where they are. But of course, it also eats up the clock. So you're going to probably depend upon running and timeouts to try to get this ball into the end zone. A touchdown, of course, is what they need. They're not going to depend upon the field goal because they haven't had success with it tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Even if it came down to that, I think you would have to trust Ja'Cory Lewis to get 5 or 6 yards other than your field goal kicker of even trying to make what this would be right now, a 37-yard attempt, if they didn't gain another yard. Exactly.
Join the conversation about high school sports. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Play on Sports, hashtag GHSA Football. Okay, here we go. 2nd and 10 for Mill Creek. And let's see, there's something. Okay, he's checking off a call, I guess. And so, from the 20-yard line, David calling the play. And the handoff goes to Lewis, and he is going off the right side. And I want to tell you, this guy, they just can't stop him. I mean, they know it's coming. They can't stop him.
Brought down by the shoestrings right at the 5-yard line, or he would have had his 6th touchdown of the game. He already has 5. And again, now clock running, 30 seconds. You have to keep it, snap it quick.
And the handoff goes around the left-hand side. Whoa, boy. looked like a horse collar here, but I don't see a flag down. 22.6 seconds left. Timeout for Mill Creek, and that is their last timeout. Is that correct?
I think now they should have one.
They have one left. Okay, that's right. One timeout left.
So one timeout left with the ball at just inside the 5-yard line, right at the 4-yard line, and another touchdown saving tackle. I mean, this is getting as close as it can get. So now 22.6 seconds. You can still pass it. Would you try to go with a little play action fake? I mean, those linebackers have been biting all night long with the run. It would be a perfect time for the play action fake to suck them up and have a wide receiver kind of run just right over the middle of the field, right behind them. If you can loft it up over their hands to get it into the end zone, or do you stick with, again, just what's been working? Just hand it off to Ja'Cory Lewis and let him bowl his way into the end zone. They only need 4 yards.
Well, David made one clutch pass here in the second half, which was a 4th down play, which kept this drive going, and that has gotten them down to the 4-yard line, Alpharetta's 4-yard line. 2nd and 4, 22.6 seconds left. They have one timeout.
And now Felton and Lewis both in the backfield.
You've got 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right, but I don't think anyone's expecting a pass. But we'll see what happens. And it goes to Lewis, and guess what? He is not going anywhere. They had the answer for him this time. 16 seconds left.
And they have taken their 3rd and final timeout, so now it's 3rd and 2 from basically the 2-yard line, 2.5-yard line. They only need a field goal. But again, they've had one blocked, one missed snap that was again blocked. One was returned for a touchdown, which gave a huge momentum swing to Alpharetta. Do you try to kick it? You only need a field goal. This would only be about what an extra point would be, 19 yards for the field goal.
Yeah.
Or do you hand it off to your back, Ja'Cory Lewis, who already has 5 touchdowns on the evening, but if he stops short, there's not enough time to rush your field goal team out there to get a kick off. What do? Do you trust your offensive line? Do you finally trust your kicker to, hey, we'll try to give you a reprieve. 1 out of 3 will get us to the next round. This is a tough decision.
Well, Johnny, with no timeouts left and 16.4 seconds left on the clock, another option would be they could go for the pass, and then if it's incomplete, they would still have time to either go for a pass or try that field goal.
I think that's probably the safest player right now. Daniel David has only completed basically 1 pass the entire second half. It did continue this drive, a big 4th and 10 play, but that would be the only thing kind of right now that would be in my mind is if you're going to go for it on 3rd down, it has to be a pass, because then you can live to play another down. If you pass it, though, you have to tell your quarterback, throw it out of bounds. You can't take a sack.
And the fact they're not going for field goal is indication they really don't have confidence in that part of the game. So here we go. 16.4 seconds left. No timeouts left. And there's a flag down. And there's a penalty. Let's see what the call is, whether it's motion or... Oh, boy.
And that just looked bad from the start. It looked like they were having 2 offensive linemen come from right to left. So my gut feeling indication was that they were going to try to run it with a power formation to the left. But now that backs you up 5 yards. And it's not necessarily a bad thing if you're trying to kick a field goal. But if they were trying to go for it and run it, that pretty much takes that play out of the playbook now. So I think now you are relegated, like you said, to go for the pass if you're going for the touchdown.
Yeah, like I said, there was 16 seconds left. There's no time taken off the clock because of the penalty, but they are going to probably try 1 pass. It's 3rd down. If they don't get it, they're going to have to either go for a pass or the field goal. So let's see what happens. It's a pass, clearly. And it is incomplete. No flags down on the field. So incomplete at the 2. So now they're going to go for the field goal. So it's 4th down. 11 seconds left, and the field goal unit is out there. So here's an opportunity for them to redeem themselves, and if they can make it, the ball game is over, and everyone forgets about the last 2 attempts. If they miss it, then, well, they lose the game. It's that simple.
So here comes your always courteous, great sportsmanship, icing the kicker. Now you can only do that once, so we won't have to kind of talk about it again. But they do ice the kicker, and like you said, this is the one chance. I mean, not too many times in football do you basically get a mulligan times two, basically.
Right. So let's set the stage here and why we're at this position in the first place. 39-38, the Raiders are ahead. The Mill Creek Hawks have had 2 field goal opportunities that have gone awry tonight. The first one resulted in a touchdown for Alpharetta Raiders. It was a block kick and taken back 85, 90 yards for a touchdown. And then the last time they had the ball going for a field goal, the snap was not good and they didn't get kickoff. They didn't get the kickoff. And so consequently, they have one more shot at it. This is a do-or-die play for the Mill Creek Hawks and their field goal team.
And this is exactly what you want. I mean, pressure situation. It's only going to be from the 9-yard line. So a 26-yard kick coming up basically for the ball game. This is the first round of the playoffs. It's win or go home time. You make the kick, you advance. If you don't make the kick, it's going to be a long time before practice for next season.
So it'll be a 25-yard kick from the middle of the field. Ball down. Kick is up. And it is good. I'll tell you what. They came through in the clutch when they needed to. So forget about the last 2 mistakes. It doesn't matter because this field goal is good. And 41-39, Mill Creek Hawks. And there's 7 seconds left. So the icing didn't do much. And the fact that the last 2 attempts went awry, that didn't matter because when it came down to the clutch moment of the game, the field goal kick was true.
So just a great recovery by Bryson King. And who says kickers aren't real football players? I mean, you got to feel great for the kid. He missed 2, but then comes back with the game, most likely now the game-winning field goal. Still 7 seconds remaining. Anything can happen. You know, the Music City Miracle, get a couple laterals. The band is on the field. Make sure all the trombonists or everything are tight and everything in the stands here. But you never know what could happen, but just kind of a great moment for Mr. Bryson King kicking the game winning field goal right now as it stands here.
Well, Johnny, you know, it probably is meaningless, but when they tried to ice the quarterback, a kicker rather, they used the last timeout. So now Alpharetta has no timeouts left. So they have 7 seconds left on the clock. And in all likelihood, this could be the last play of the game, whereas potentially they could have gotten the ball and then had one pass, a potential Hail Mary. But that is not going to be in the cards. It appears to be a one-play game, and this game will be over. So 7 seconds left, 41-39. Mill Creek Hawks ahead. And in all likelihood, we're down to the last play of this game. And a little squib kick. And let's see, he's not even trying to get out of bounds. So there's 4 seconds, 3.9 seconds left. And Alpharetta is at their own 34-yard line. So at the 34-yard line, 3.9 seconds left. And I don't really know what's in the bag of tricks for the Alpharetta Raiders, but they better have a good one because this is the last play potentially of their season.
You're exactly right, and kind of bring out your best backyard football player right now. Look for several of the laterals or basically just a deep bomb downfield. I'm not sure if Joshua Dobbs has the arm strength to get all the way into the end zone. But on the other side, if you're the defender, I would be putting 4 defenders right at the goal line and just tell everybody, knock it down and make sure you knock it down. And don't try to be greedy for the interception. Just get it down and you live to fight for another week.
Well, stranger things have happened, but nevertheless, there's 2.9 seconds on the clock. Don't know really why they lost a second, but...
and to make matters worse, there's going to be an illegal substitution penalty called against Alpharetta, so making a daunting task even harder by pushing him back another 5 yards.
So now they're at the 29-yard line. They have to... and the Alpharetta Raiders will go home, 41-39. An incredible ball game. You couldn't ask for more excitement, Johnny. The outcome here, the game is being played in Alpharetta, so naturally the hometown fans here are disappointed. But Alpharetta certainly gave it a great fight, and 2 great teams duking it out. 2 heavyweight champions duking it out. Someone had to win, someone had to lose. And for tonight, the Mill Creek Hawks were the winner, and Alpharetta Raiders were the losers.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, these 2 teams came in very evenly matched. Both teams with 7-3 records, and we expected a shootout, both averaging over 30 points a game. After a little bit of a slow start, we ended up getting it. 41 points scored for Mill Creek, 39 for Alpharetta, and you said exactly right. One team had to win, one team had to lose, but I mean, just an outstanding effort by Ja'Cory Lewis. I mean, 5 touchdowns, that's just basically unheard of.
Yeah, and it was an interesting game right from the start, meaning where there was no scores in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden in the second quarter, it seemed like the Mill Creek Hawks were going to take command of the game and blow them out. But come the second half, the Alpharetta Raiders said, no, this game isn't over, and they really kind of got back into the game and took it right down to the wire, and literally right down to the wire until that field goal with 110 seconds to go. So, at any rate, that finishes off tonight's game. The final score, 41-39. The Mill Creek Hawks win, and they go on to the next round. And Alpharetta Raiders go home, and we'll think about it over the winter. So, for the team here, this is Phil Singer wishing everyone a good evening, and we'll talk to you again next week.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot this.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. Oh, we're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.